Trying published. What the dude? What's wrong with my volume? Dude, I don't get it.
Your four-time All-Star.
Oh, yes. Walk and talk. Really shoots your shot. Shoot that shot. Miami Heat shot their shot. 120 points last night. That was beautiful. Oh, yes. Little Ohio players. How y'all feeling out there? That was nice last night. That was fun. It started with frustrations, and you're still kind of questioning what's going on with Jimmy. You know, it doesn't look like it's bad, at least, but hopefully it's not bad. I mean, they kept saying it's not bad, so hopefully it's nothing. And, you know, they say it might be having a kid, all that good stuff. Just say family issue, and Jimmy will give you the news soon. It's nothing that has to do with basketball. Just kill it like that right there. That would have been better last night. But it turned out where we talked about a negative, right, in a way with Jimmy Butler last night. It turned out to be a monster positive, actually, really, when you look at it, if you're objective with the whole thing. Because Jimmy now will get to see the film, and he's going to see that Justice Winslow came out there, scored 27 points on 10 of 21 shooting. He also had 7 rebounds, 7 assists in the game. So you're talking about a guy that shined yesterday in a big time. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to do this every night. And hell, he even said it himself. He's not sure if he's going to do, 27 points every single night. That's not an easy feat to do in this league. And it's not like we've considered him an offensive, juggernaut. But hey, listen, that's a nice start yesterday by Justice Winslow. That was a lot of fun last night. Last night was one of those where I was tweeting out before the game that I'm excited about the youth movement with the Heat. I was excited about Tyler Hero. I'm excited about Kendrick Nunn. Who wouldn't be? Hell, the Silva kid came in the fourth quarter yesterday and was just kicking some serious ass last night. So that was a lot of fun. So this youth movement, it's a cool thing. And it's needed for the Miami Heat. Look, I don't know if any of these young guys are going to become stars. That's the unknown. And there's a good chance that most of them won't become stars. But that chance that one of them does, that Kendrick Lamar, I was about to say, Kendrick Nunn ends up the guy, or Tyler Hero. Hell, and Tyler Hero was the third place rookie yesterday, right? Because Kendrick Nunn was number one. Let's see. Kendrick Nunn yesterday had 8 points at the half, ended up with 24 points in the game on 10 of 18 shooting, only 1 of 2 from three-point range. Not a lot of three-point shots, 3 assists, 2 steals. The Silva kid, Chris Silva, came off the bench, had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks in 11 minutes. Tyler Hero was in third place out of those guys, had 5 points at halftime, had 14 points from the game, 6 of 14 shooting, only took a couple of three-point shots. You'd expect him to actually shoot more. And Hero also became the youngest Heat starter ever. But it was really important because I know that Winslow's not considered a young guy because he's now in his 5th season, but he's part of that youth movement for the Miami Heat. And so is Bam Adebayo, who is entering his 3rd season. Kendrick Nunn, I keep almost saying Lamar. Kendrick Nunn is entering technically his 2nd season. He's a rookie, but he spent in the G League last year. So he never played in the NBA. So he is officially an NBA rookie, but again, part of this youth movement yesterday. And that is the thing that when you look at this Heat team last night, and look, I know the Grizzlies are not a good team. I don't care about that. The Heat is not a playoff team. Hopefully they're a playoff team this year, but they haven't been in the past. So you can't assume that any game is a given, any game is a gimme for the Miami Heat. And last night was the case. And last night they went out there and, hey, for little into the 3rd quarter, they were trailing in that game. And maybe even up to halfway in that 3rd quarter, they were still trailing in that game. And then they woke up, and then the 4th quarter, they exploded in the 4th quarter. That was one hell of a, what was it?
19-1 run.
Yeah, 19-1 run.
It was probably about the first minute in. After 11 minutes left in the game, from 39 to or 37 to 48, it was all Miami Heat.
I mean, they had 16 turnovers through 3 quarters. So they were turning over the ball. It was actually a 24-1 run in the 4th quarter, actually. That's what it was. And they shot 62% from the field during that run. Grizzlies shot 30 in the 4th quarter. So, and again, no Butler. So it becomes a much bigger performance yesterday for the Miami Heat because it was their young guys that was getting it done. Hey, and Memphis has their young guys too.
Not a bad little group, man.
No, they're
athletic guys.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're headed in the right direction.
They got some stuff going on there.
Yeah. John Morant is he's the real deal, dude. He's gonna be a nice little player down the line. They got a couple guys on that team, but it's nice to see the Miami movement headed in the right direction. Because we all know. Listen, we all know what the real thing is. We're trying to get through all these bad contracts that they signed 3 years ago, and there's 2 years left, and two of those guys are left, and you're dying to get rid of those guys, and then you can clear up that cap space, and then eventually in 2021 you can be a player, and you can add somebody else out there. That's really what this is all about. Now, we'll get into other issues when it comes to all of that, and we've talked a little bit about that. If you have to wait till 2021, that's going to be a detriment to everything else. But regardless, the good thing is if you're able in 2021 to add a star to go with the young guys that you have, that will be an absolute positive because, Jimmy will be on his decline at that point in time. But last night I thought was a lot of fun. And I was excited about last night because it was the young guys. And I know that we all wanted to see the new shiny object out there, and you got the brand new car in the driveway. You want to drive it, right? I mean, it's like Christmas. When you open up the gifts, you got to play with the train set, the car set. You got to build it right there and then because you want to play with it right there and then. You got to build the bike, for those of you that still had to build a bike. And so you could go riding all throughout the neighborhood and show off your new bike to everybody, right? That's what you wanted to do, and you couldn't do it yesterday with Jimmy. But you were able to show off your new shiny rookies.
I was just going to say, man, 2 of them.
Right,
and
three.
Silva, yes, the kid from South Carolina.
Silva looked really, really good. He looked good in the preseason. That's why when I asked who was it? Which one of our guys was it about the 2-way contract? I figured Silva would be one of the guys to get that two-way contract, and sure enough, because he has shown you can't teach, you can't coach what that kid does. Because when you have the kind of fire that you're willing to play defense and play the dirty game and play the garbage points and all of that and defend, you can't teach that kind of
That
stuff.
block was vicious,
Yeah.
man. That was every bit back in the day. Like, you're
Yeah.
not coming in here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it. And watching the broadcast was kind of odd, too, because they had a lot of Jimmy Butler in it. They had a halftime interview, a pregame interview with Jimmy Butler. And it was like, well, wait a minute. This is all set up. Now, remember, this happened he was at shoot-around. So you expect, that's why this whole thing, it can't be anything like basketball-wise. You know, even though we really don't know what's going on, nobody has said it yet and all that, it's hard to imagine that it's going to be basketball. It better not be basketball at this point. Because then what the hell happened hours before a game that it would be basketball? You know what I mean? The guy went to shoot around, and then all of a sudden he can't be there, and it's just weird. But then throughout the night, anything that had to do with Jimmy was kind of odd because there was this cloud looming. I just wish they would have said, hey, Jimmy's having a personal matter he'll address later. Everything is fine. We wish Jimmy the best. Boom, it's over.
The way they didn't address it, didn't
Right,
say,
it's just
it
kinda like,
left us for speculation. And dude, your mind runs wild.
Right, and Spo did say, well, everything's fine, but it's just like, be a little bit more clear. That's all. Because it is opening night. You got fans driving to the game. You got people planning to see the game. But I got to tell you something. There's a part of me that was more satisfied with last night's game than I would have been with Jimmy Butler, because with Jimmy Butler, I'm not impressed that you beat Memphis, right? Think about that. You'd feel good about the win, okay? But you're sitting there going, well, you should beat Memphis. You got Jimmy Butler. You got an all-star. They don't have an all-star. They got a bunch of young guys there. They're not that good. And it's good to see that Miami's young guys, they suffer a mental blow before the game, because you're at shoot-around with Jimmy, and then you arrive to the arena and you're told Jimmy's not there. He won't be there tonight. And you're like, huh? What? So all of a sudden now things change. Lineup changes. Adjustments have to be made mentally for the players, because your team revolves around Jimmy Butler. So now all of a sudden, the sun that the universe revolves around is now completely out of whack. So what happens? They picked up right where they left off there, and they said, okay, no Jimmy, all right, we'll work it this way. And the fact that Justice Winslow stepped in to be that leader, that's huge. And that shows you also 5 years in, maybe for us as fans, we start to feel better about that Justice Winslow development, because first of all, we were headed to Bustville early on, correct? The injury, can't shoot, looks discombobulated, all of that. But 2 years ago, in that playoff run, he kind of broke out and showed us some moxie, showed us some fire, because Justice is such a reserved dude. You know what I mean? It's one of those guys that you don't see him open up a lot. But in that playoff game, you saw a vibrant young man explode. You saw personality. You saw fire. You saw dog. And then all of a sudden, the light went on for hope for all of us. Because up until that point, you were like, he had his moments. He was improving his three-point shot. He did little things, right? And you were like, okay, There were some things, but still not enough to justify the draft position and all that good stuff.
And the pedigree he came from. There's a lot based
Great
on the
point.
pedigree.
Great point. And so you come from Duke, you come from North Carolina. There's a level of expectation, right? And that's so true. But that moment, that playoff series, was the moment where you said, "Hey, Justice Winslow, he may have a little some there." And all of a sudden, you've got some hope. And now you've watched since that point, he's gotten better and better as a basketball player. And last night was another test. And the good thing about that test was it was the first game of the season. You had 81 more to go. But don't you feel better about the next 81 when you watch the way Justice took over last night, the way he played? I know offensively he was better than I expected, because I've told you guys, I think he's going to be an exceptional glue guy.
I asked you if 17, 16, maybe 20. You said, if we do anything, we're going down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't expect him to score that much. And that's why it was an important moment last night for Justice Winslow. It was an important moment for the team because remember, who is Tyler going to look up to? Jimmy. He's got to look up to Justice because Justice has now become one of the veterans on this team. He's 5. This is his 5th year. So he has to also show the young guys the Heat way, the Heat culture. And listen, work ethic-wise, nobody's ever going to question Justice. You're never going to question his character. He's a good dude. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't need to tell any of you out there. We all root for Justice Winslow. He is so likable, it's not even funny. Like Bam, same thing. How do you not root for guys like that? You want them to be stars. If they don't end up, but you want them at least to be good players. Last night, a really good player showed up. And that's what gets you excited, that you wonder, okay, wait a minute. Is this a sign of things to come? Is he going to be able to do this on a night in and night out basis? This now has you excited. I'm almost like, I hope, first of all, like I said yesterday on the later podcast, which, by the way, we did a podcast for you for the Jimmy Butler news. Like I said on the podcast yesterday, obviously we hope it's nothing serious because none of us want to go through anything personal with our families and all that. We never wish that upon anybody. But there's a small part of me right now that wants Jimmy out for the next game.
Well, who got the minutes? None, right?
That's
None
what I'm
was the
saying.
kid that got it. So, and look at that.
No. Tyler Hero is the guy that got it. None was going to start anyways. It was going to be Nunn and Butler, Hero off the bench, which I think this is why Spo is so good, man. He's right. You got to just because he's your first rounder. Nunn is the better player right now. When you look at him,
the play when he was under the basket. He waited for the guy to get in the air. He got positioned. He knew he had the 3 seconds, made the shot, and got a 3 point. Yeah, man.
He's a little bit more, and his body is a little bit more developed. You know what I mean? When I look at Tyler needs to hit the weight room in a bad way, dude. I mean, but that's fine.
He's
that's
what?
normal.
How? What is he? 19,
Yeah,
20?
he's a baby,
Come on, he's
bro.
a kid.
It's normal for all of those kind of cats that come out of college to have to hit the weight room. But that's where I say that the performance. Now I say, okay, wait a minute. I know we all want to see Jimmy. I know he's a fantastic player. I know he's the all-star on this team. I know he's the leader on this team. But I want to see the young guys again. I want to see how they handle this. You got Jimmy for the whole year. We don't need to burn his legs out. Just one more game. Just want to see if it was. I just want to have that feeling that it wasn't an aberration. That's all. I just want to know that it wasn't the fluke. And that this is what we're going to get. Not 27 points a night from Justice. But I'd like to see another one of those nights from Justice. I'd like to see Kendrick do his thing. I'd like to see Tyler have a little better outing than he did yesterday. He did all right for his first game. Nice job overall. But I'd like to see some of these other guys do it again. I think that would actually be really, really cool. I don't mean anything bad by it with Jimmy. If his, I don't know if it's a girlfriend or a wife, had the baby, dude, enjoy another day with the baby.
Get some maternity leave.
Yeah, one more. I know it's Milwaukee, and they definitely need him on Saturday.
I was just going to say, yeah, they're expecting
Greek freak.
57, 58. They're like the second-ranked team in
Yeah.
the power rankings behind the Clippers. Yeah.
they're-
Yeah. Reality, real quick.
Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a contest for them. But it would be nice to see how these young guys answer it, because you've got so much season left, and Jimmy's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting as it is, night in and night out. That would be nice to see them against upper echelon competition, to see how far those young guys are from competing with a team
You
like
really,
Milwaukee.
the look on your face,
Yeah.
man, you're like almost tempted to see if you could get in touch with Riles and
Well-
say, hey, come
well-
on, man.
Well, it's kind of like, it reminds me of the Dolphins, that this is the future. I know Jimmy's a mercenary. Come on. Let's just call it like we see it. That's what we do on this show. We don't dance around the subject. Jimmy's not he's not a Heat player. He's a hired hand for a couple of years to help them try to win. But he hasn't played his career here. They're not going to lift up his jersey in the rafters when it's all said and done.
We win an Eastern Conference and get in the finals in a couple of years, maybe.
It's about the future. It's about the guys that I want to see Kendrick Nunn be a Heat player for the next 10 to 15 years. I want to see the same thing for Tyler Hero. I want those guys' jerseys up in the rafters. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but that's my hope as a Heat fan. Of course I'm going to enjoy watching Jimmy Butler. I'm going to appreciate that he's here and he makes the team better. But I know they're not going to be a championship team unless some of these young guys turn into stars. Then all of a sudden now you have fast-tracked what you could possibly do here. But there's a part of me, you tell me, here on the chat board on YouTube, if you're watching, tell me, what you feel the same way about these young guys? Want to see more of them? Would you be intrigued of seeing them, on Saturday night without Jimmy taking on the Bucks? I'm a fan of the youth movement. That's why I've been excited about the Panthers the last couple of years, because the ownership group drafted a bunch of really good young guys. They signed them all to long-term contracts, so they made a commitment to a core. So there's a future there, and it's here now, by the way, that future finally. I look at what the Dolphins are doing, and that's what I'm excited about. I want to see Michael Dieter grow up and be a good guard in this league. I want to see Preston Williams turn into a player for the Miami Dolphins for years to come. That's what I'm excited about. Watching Gesicki, who we thought highly of early on, but he was headed for Bustville. Now the last couple weeks, maybe the kid is now turning the corner. How do you not get excited about something like that?
Maybe Mark Walton.
Mark Walton, another young guy. That's, to me, that's what I get excited about. Because I know what the big picture is. At the moment, I know what it is. I know what the Heat are. But the future of the Heat could be that much brighter if Justice Winslow really turns the corner. Okay? If Tyler Hero has the goods to be a player. And the ultimate find right now looks like it's Kendrick Nunn. And if you can make that kid a player, all of a sudden, wait a minute, you added Tyler and Kendrick in the same season, and they can become foundational pieces, that gets me excited. The Silva kid, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I am excited about him. Because every time I watched him, it was like, well, wait a minute, this kid brings a little something here.
Listening to Ira, he said flat out, this guy's 100 miles per hour, energy, constant, nonstop.
Yeah. But that's what I've seen. Every time I watched the summer league preseason, all this stuff that went on, Silva was one of those guys that usually was like catching your eye, going, "Hey, this guy's got some skills," and he's got heart too because he plays hard every single minute that he's out there, and you love that. You know what I mean? So to me, that was one of the things that really was important yesterday, was watching Justice Winslow elevate his game and say, okay, you know what? I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to become a leader. I'm ready to become an anchor and a guy that you can now lean on me. That's what that performance said last night. And that's what his words were saying in the locker room too. And that's real positives yesterday with the Miami Heat. And a night where it started kind of iffy and questionable and nervous and, oh my Lord, is this going to be something bad? And doesn't look like it is.
The thing that made it run rampant is nothing, and like we even speculated was like, did waiters do something? Did something, because you don't know, and you're like trying to piece it together.
And you never find anything.
And they didn't say, right?
The Heat is like the best at that. They just know how to keep everything in house. So when they don't necessarily elaborate, you kind of set it off. But right now it doesn't look. And look, nobody's reporting anything negative. That's really important too, because that's what I was expecting also. That okay, if there's anything bad, something's going to come out. Something will come out any moment now, and nothing's come across, which means that's probably good thing is nothing serious. And let's hope it is a baby. I don't know if she's pregnant or not or whatever. I'm not sure, but I hope it's a baby. I hope it's super healthy, and I hope he has a fantastic couple days with his wife and his child, and that's it. Although, and in today's world, you have more time to hang out with the wife and the child. I remember when my daughter was born, it was 2 days, and I was back at work. It was the day of the birth, the next day at home, and then the following day I was already back at work. I remember that. I've only taken 2. And hell, I was on a roll where I think I missed like 4 days in like 20 years until my heart thing. And then that kind of threw me off and I had to miss a couple.
Well, besides the missing with, sickness, whatever, vacation. How long was it before you actually took like a real vacation?
Well, I take vacations, but now since the heart thing, I take my breaks all the time now. And now in this situation that we're in, I actually can control it a lot more and do whatever I really want. But after the heart thing, I was like, no. I'm taking off. I'm going to enjoy my concerts. I'm going to enjoy my trips. I'm not, I've been a workaholic my entire life. And especially in this business, you got to be a workaholic. You got to live the life in this thing. It's crazy. You're getting the feel now of what it's like.
Yeah,
everybody,
last night game.
Everybody thinks that it's like, oh yeah, you turn on the mic and you just work 2 hours. Like, yeah, I did 3 hours today. This is all I did. I just opened up the mic. I never did any kind of preparation. Never watched any games. Never did research. All that stuff. It's amazing. You do a ton of hours to do radio shows, but the one thing, that has changed now is that when you when you have a child, people take off a month and 6 weeks, and it's I don't know how it is in the NBA now because these rules have all changed. So you're allowed to take, I don't know how many days it is now. I don't know what they do in the NBA. I don't know how they handle it in professional sports. The old way in life, which is the way I grew up, is all right. The mother has the child. Most important is that she's healthy and the child is healthy. Great. You then go home, everybody's healthy, everybody's fine one day, and then you're off to work. That's how it used to be. Now they give you, I don't know what it is, like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks off, and you don't even have to take them all at the same time. You could take like 3 weeks now and like 6 months later take the other 3 weeks. That's how they're doing it nowadays. And it's all due to the baby because supposedly it creates a better whatever environment or.
Well, yeah, that first year, man, there's, it isn't just that first week or whatever. There's a bunch of stuff that first year.
Aren't you home after work?
Well,
Isn't the kid
yeah,
with
but
the wife?
look, like right now, when you get home from work, like when we get done, what happens? Games start, this, that, and somewhere around 7, 8, 9 o'clock, you're on a run till 12, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, depending
Sure.
on how many games.
Yeah, but you see your kid. I mean, come on. I see my kid. I didn't need to be home 30 days, bro. That would have driven me crazy. Seriously. 30 days stuck in the house with the wife and the baby? I love them, but no. No.
You're not getting that close to your inner
No, it's-
feminine side.
It's
Forget
not a
it.
matter of getting close
Okay.
to them. It's just 24
No, I'm
hours
talking
of it.
about you getting into your inner feminine side. Like embracing.
I can embrace it for a couple of hours and then I'm done. And then
You
I
gotta-
gotta
you
move
gotta
on.
get
I
out,
gotta
yeah.
I gotta do something else. You know what I mean? Let the mother do the motherly things. I'm not Mr. Mom. I'm just no.
So you're like,
I love my kid. I'll hang out with my kid. I'll talk with my kid and all that. I'll hang out with my wife. I love my wife. But after they've had, in that baby mode where it's just crying, crapping, and sleeping, you don't really need me that much, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's not that important. It's more important when they're older and then, they need help with homework. They need a ride here. You need a hug there. You
somebody to
need
teach me how to
support.
ride my bike.
Yeah, that's where we come in. But that first month, what the hell are you doing? Taking out the diapers to the trash?
Okay, so based on this, you hate the idea of guys being involved with the baby shower. Is that not one of the most ridiculous?
I don't do baby showers.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't do any baby showers.
Is that stupid?
No. I dropped off my wife for the baby shower.
Yeah, exactly.
So she
The way it's supposed to be done.
She knows me. She knows I don't do any of that stuff. I don't go to weddings. She goes to all those weddings for all her friends. They're all married already at this point. But whenever they would get married, it was like, yeah, you can go ahead. They're going to the shower. Yeah, go ahead. Go to the shower. I didn't go to my own shower, dude. How am I going to go to somebody else's shower?
Awesome.
That's got to be the lamest thing. If you're a dude going with your wife or girlfriend to somebody else's shower.
Yeah, but bro, that's become the new norm, man. Like 95,
That's
98% of
That's
yes,
lame.
man.
That's lame.
That's
I'm sorry,
the way they
guys.
do it.
I'm sorry. If they're dragging your ass to showers, I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. I would say, you know what I normally say? I got a game to watch. Yeah, no, the Panthers are playing. The Marlins are playing. The Dolphins, the Heat, the Canes, whatever. There's some playing during a
There's
shower.
a major Tiddlywinks match
Something.
on ESPN.
Something's going on. You are not dragging my ass to the showers. You're not dragging my ass to a mall. That's the other thing. My wife does not. She knows. Okay? Oh, I'm going to the mall. Knock yourself out. Have a great time. Early in our relationship, I did the mall thing a couple times, and I can't do that, bro. I can't go.
No, well, you're an Amazon guy anyway.
Yeah, but even when I go to a mall, okay, to go buy something for myself, I crap you not. I walk in directly to the store I'm looking for. I pick what I want within minutes, and I walk the hell out. Like, you will not see me in a mall like the thing that women do. Like, my wife will walk into a store, walk around for 20 minutes and not buy a damn thing, and then go to the next store and another 20 minutes. And you just get tired of just standing there like an idiot.
No. Yeah.
So,
dude, I call Levi.
So 20-something years ago, my wife stopped asking me about malls. Okay? That's the beauty of being married and being with somebody for 30 years. 20-something years ago, she stopped asking me about malls. She knows. Don't bother asking me because I'm not going.
Here, Levi's jeans. I'll call the outlet, blah. Give me my size, blah. Yeah, grab 4. My name's Bill. I'll be in. I'll take 6 of them, go try them all on, grab 4, walk out the door. Thank you. Have a
Boom,
nice
I'm
day.
done.
Yep, bye.
Get the hell out, bro.
Christmas time, Walmart, whatever's on sale. Dude, I
Christmas
call
time.
and I have so-and-so pull it and put it under the counter. I'll walk up to them, slip them a $5 bill. They ring me right up.
Yeah.
I'm in and out. Bye-bye.
Hey, I get gifts for people, and you can say I'm thoughtful, but don't tell me that. Don't ever think that I sat there for an hour trying to decide what the hell to buy you. Okay? I decided quickly. I hate that, dude.
Gift cards.
That's why I love Amazon. Oh, man, do I love Amazon. I just pick it, boom, buy it, Prime. It's in my house in 2 days, and I never have to worry.
You buy a lot of stuff.
Tons.
When was the last time you bought something other than mail? Other than stuff for work that we've had to get equipment-wise. I'm talking about like something for
Our
yourself.
clothes?
Yeah, it's anything. Sunglasses, whatever.
Right, Caneswear.
Okay.
Caneswear.
Canes, that's it. And that's only because we were
And
doing the
before-
show, and of course you can't.
And before that, it was Austin Burke that I went to go get a suit to go to Paris.
Oh, well, that was for the 25th wedding anniversary.
Right.
You had, you know.
Yeah.
And Canes were.
And by the way, when I went to Austin Burke, I was there no longer than 20 minutes.
You got fitted and everything in 20 minutes.
Yes.
So you had set all this up
I
before you walked in the door.
No.
No.
I just walked in.
Bada bing.
I picked a couple suits. I tried them on real quick. He did the measurements, and I walked out the door. Came back in a couple days, picked up the suit. Done.
20 minutes. Dude,
20
that's
minutes.
2 suits. That's
20 minutes.
That's freaking impressive.
20 minutes. I'm not wasting any time. 20 minutes. I can't stand shopping. I hate it, bro. With a passion. Seriously. Can't stand it, dude. Going to a store and putting on clothes and making lines and oh man, no, I hate it. I got to get in, I got to get out. I went to IKEA to go buy something and I was pissed that I had to walk so much there and back it took me longer. Okay? It took me longer to walk to the table, pay for the table, and get out of IKEA than picking the table. Okay?
Did you eat anything while you were there?
No, I did not because time, bro. I wanted in and
you
out.
wanted, yeah.
In, out.
Really?
Yeah, but
They
it was just
supposedly have good food.
I didn't try any food, but it was just, man, that building's ginormous, bro. Holy crap. It took me longer to walk. But I walked over to the area of the desk, that one, boom, I'm out. That's it. Done. Like in 2 seconds, I got the tag, I wrote down the number, went over there, here, pick it, I'm out. And that's it. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but there's no way you're suckering me into any of that. No way. John says, wait until Amazon starts delivering by drone. I've thought about that stuff. You know we're going to have people shooting drones down, right? I mean, seriously. There are going to be people...
Instead of people coming to your doorstep to take stuff, they shoot it out of the air and take it.
And it never gets to your house. They're going to come up with some stuff. They're going to come up with some electromagnetic type of gun that when they see it come by, and it aims at it, and it knocks it right, and knocks the motor down, and knocks it right down on the ground, and then they take the package. Seriously, for every cool thing you're going to come up with, okay, there's going to be the a-hole that's going to come up with something to make life harder on all of us, right? Because all these people that steal raise the prices to everything. Everybody that's doing insurance fraud makes us pay more higher insurance rates. All these idiots that go to stores and they're stealing this and stealing that raises the prices of the products because we have to pay for all of that. The consumer. So that's what's going to happen with the drone stuff. I was thinking about, and then that drone, everybody then sees it too on top of all of that. Well, how about these folks that walk right up to your doorway and take your packages? I mean, you got to have some balls to just walk up to somebody's house and grab the package that's at the door. That is just
And you couple
What
that
a
with
lowlife.
everybody that's got securities and cameras all over their house. You really
No, and they
got
know
some
there's
balls.
a camera.
Some balls, yeah.
Because most everybody's got a camera nowadays. Everybody pretty much has added that doorbell camera now. Makes your life easier now, you know, and you get to find out who's there. That's the beauty of those doorbell cameras. Now you know who's ringing the doorbell, and you can like sit back and go, "Don't make any noise. Don't leave. Let him keep knocking. Let him keep ringing."
Hey, I hear you. I see you in there.
That's it. Dogs are barking, TV's going, nobody's answering the door. Jehovah's Witness is sitting out there going, "Come on, guys, I got a magazine for you." I mean, whatever. And we're lucky that in today's world we have less door-to-door salespeople like back in the day. Nowadays, that's such a
You know what? The kids don't even come around and sell candy bars and
No.
stuff like that for school.
no, because nowadays you don't trust anybody anymore. So it gets to a point that a door-to-door salesman nowadays would die because they would never make any money because nobody's opening the door anymore. You show up with a vacuum cleaner in your hand like they used to back in the day, and I guarantee you that 99.9% of the people in the United States are not opening the door for you. Okay? It'll be very few naive people that are going to open the door, much less allow you in. That's how it used to be back in the day. Cold call, they'd knock on the door, and people would let them in. Can you imagine that nowadays?
Throw crap all over your floor, try to clean it up.
Right, exactly.
Encyclopedia salesman.
Yeah.
That was another door-to-door.
Oh, man, yeah. That was huge back in the day. I remember as a kid, we didn't have computers. So that was like your computer. And so the guy would open up the pages of the encyclopedia and see these cool pictures, and the kid immediately would want the encyclopedia just for the cool pictures. Not really that they wanted an education. They just wanted for the cool pictures. And the parents are like, "How much is that?" No.
We do have an Encyclopedia Britannica
Yeah.
with the blue and the fancy gold leaf.
Yep, definitely.
You know.
I got one of those too. I got one of those. Your parents get it for you. Yeah, we're going to use it. You might have used it once for a project and never used it again. It's the amazing part.
Well, I went to Catholic school for 9 years. Actually, science, history, yeah, that thing got pulled out at least 2 or 3 times in the course of the school year to do a project.
I might have used it once, I think. And then had to hear my mom for years after. You only used it once. Let's see. Remember having to peek out the window. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Peeking out the window to see who the hell is there. No, yeah. And you got to like peek like in a way where they can't see you and you see them. Right?
Oh, you gotta be
like
slick. You had to
slightly move the curtain or the shade so you can just peek. But you got to make sure they don't see you. Because if the person's looking over to the window and then see you and you're like, "Oh, damn, he saw me. Now I got to open the damn door."
The best was to like either go to the edge of the curtain, and see if you
Right.
caught it there, or if it's in the middle flap.
Right.
What you do is you grab it from the bottom, and you kind of wiggle it down like on the floor, and like you're looking up like the windowsill face.
Right.
And you grab it from the bottom. If you grab it from the middle,
You're done.
you're done.
Right.
Yeah, obviously I had done that before.
Take a look at the video of some women stealing a package off a porch, running away, and breaks her leg before she gets to the car. It's great. Oh, I saw that one. I did see that one. Yes, I saw that one of the woman breaking her leg, and goody for her ass. That's one where you don't have any sympathy, right? She broke her leg. That was classic, dude. That was great. It's fantastic. It should happen to everybody that steals a package from somebody's porch. That should be a law, right? They take a package from the porch, and the second they take a step the other way, their leg just pops in half, and they fall right to the ground right there. That way they get busted right away. That would be pretty cool if we can set it up that way. No more packages will be stolen. Because I mean, it's just, what kind of a low life are you that you're just going to walk up to somebody's home and take their personal items? I mean, And that's a federal crime, isn't it? Am I right? Isn't mail theft?
Tampering with the mail, yes.
Mail theft,
that
isn't
is
it?
federal.
Good. Break your leg, and you got to go serve some kind of a jail sentence.
You mentioning this, you know what I was just thinking of, especially around Christmas time, it's a big thing. You go shopping at the mall, you have all these packages in your car, and your car gets broken into.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's why you got to put them in the trunk. You can't put them in the back seat. You know? The worst thing is it's a box of Kotex, and they don't see it. It's just inside a bag, and they break in, and they're just like, oh, my Lord, I just got, 40 Kotex. That's what I stole. And then they broke your window for that. Because I would imagine that's happened to people, that they had some stuff that was inside a bag or whatever, and it wasn't valuable at all. So they threw it in the back seat. But the thief can't see it. They don't know what it is. So they break the window and they take it, and it's like, wait a minute, man. These people took my Kotex. What's going on here? They took some cotton swabs. Well, what's the they took 8 liters of Pepsi or something. And why? I don't get it. Remember, you can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program as we take you till 2 o'clock. At 1, my man Tom D'Angelo is going to join us, Heat beat writer. Well, he covers everything too, but Tom's been all over the place. But Tom's been on the Heat beat for years. And so we are going to talk a little Heat basketball. He was there last night. We'll get a feel for what he saw and what he thinks is going on with the Jimmy Butler situation. Look it up, by the way. Keep up with that stuff, Bill. See if there's anything breaking with Jimmy Butler. And finally something comes out. It's got to be I just, as long as it's nothing serious, it just doesn't look like it's basketball. I just hope it's nothing serious family
On the way in,
I just hope it's a
speculation.
celebrating type of thing.
One of the FM radio stations, said something about the fact that there's supposedly talk about it being a baby, girlfriend, whatever.
All right, that's fine. If that's it.
But nothing's confirmed yet. So.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's anything bad. I don't think. Spo would have come off a little bit more dry and a little bit more serious about it, and he wasn't serious enough that it seemed like it was anything
And
basketball
you know what?
related.
Rothstein, JJ, everybody involved with the production.
And
Will
dude,
Manson,
and
nobody.
Woj has not dropped a bomb. When the Woj bomb drops, then you know it's
Right.
And so Woj would have had something, man. Woj would have had something on this if it was ugly. You know what I mean? So hopefully it's just that he does have a bouncing baby on the way.
I have to say that idea of him having some more maternity leave and not being there, I want to beat Milwaukee, man. You know where we will be if obviously it's early in the season, blah, blah.
Yeah, it means nothing, yeah.
I can remember our
Well,
second.
it would mean something to the Heat.
Right, because we're young.
Yeah, it means nothing to
Look,
the Bucks.
our second year as
But
the
Bucks,
Heat, if you remember
for Miami
this,
to beat the Bucks, bro, even with Jimmy, is going to be
well, hey, our second year,
hell of a
opening night,
performance.
we had the defending 2-time NBA champion Detroit Pistons, and we
remember.
beat them.
I know.
And we sang "We Are the Champions" all the way to the freaking Metro Rail.
Yeah, no, I know. And Rex
It's-
Chapman, 39 against
yeah.
Michael Jordan and the Bulls and all that. I was there for that. Yeah, but it's just, you're right. It could happen, but it's not something that's normal. Hey, tomorrow, we've got actually 2 broadcasts tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be doing that once a month, actually.
The
because,
gauntlet.
every Friday, we're at Hialeah Park from 1 to 4, right? Well, tomorrow from 9 to 11, we'll be at Craig's Inn Acura, okay, for a couple of hours doing our show there. Then we'll be a couple of hours in the afternoon over at Hialeah Park. So 9 to 11 at Craig's Inn Acura in Pembroke Pines, and then 1 to 4 at Hialeah Park, okay? So we've got 5 hours of programming tomorrow. We got a bunch of a bunch of things too tomorrow. Brian, I'm sorry, not Brian. What's it called? Andy Behrens tomorrow will join us at 1:30 to do a little fantasy football. Remember, if you have fantasy questions, send them in at 786-322-1105 or on the YouTube chat board tomorrow when we're doing it. Also, we're going to have Chris Long at 3:30. We're going to have Don Henrik, who is from the Finns fan club president from Pennsylvania. He's also going to be at Vegas, like a lot of Finns fans are going to be. He's going to join us there, too. At 2 o'clock, we're going to have John McCognals, who covers the Pitt Panthers for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. So we'll talk a little Panthers and Canes with him also. So we got a loaded Friday. Actually, he's at 10:30 in the morning is when he's going to join us in the first half of the programming between 9 and 11 over at Craig's Inn, Acura.
Thank goodness that there's not a concert and we're doing the sound check someplace.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, that would be a third show. I don't know if I could handle it, bro. I mean, the voice gets rough enough as it is.
You know that this is going to happen. That's a Friday that we'll be doing it, and there's concerts on Friday all the time.
Yeah. It's going to happen for sure, no doubt. It'll definitely be the case. I could see that definitely developing. So Tom D'Angelo will join us at 1. We'll have a little fun with Tom. We'll talk a little bit about the Heat. Great night last night for the Heat with the youth movement and a lot of positives overall. I have one more Heat thing that I want to bring up, and we'll do that in the next hour to start off hour number 2. The Panthers are back in action tonight at 9 o'clock. They are starting their road trip. They've got an interesting road trip. Tonight they're in Calgary. Sunday they're in Edmonton. Monday they're in Vancouver. And Wednesday they're in Colorado. So one hell of a road trip starting today with 4 games in 6 nights, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 7, actually. So
6 games in a row, getting at least a point.
Yeah.
Got to keep that going.
Yeah. Let's hope they can get a couple wins here in this road trip. That would be really, really cool. I think Calgary's at 500, so this is one of those games that's a very winnable game for them. So hopefully they will be able to pull out the victory. I'm looking forward to tonight. We got a bunch of things. We've got the Redskins and the Vikings at 8:20 on Fox. AP is likely to play now. That's good news for any of you out there that are using AP as and he's playing against his former team. So I think he'll be really motivated to go out and shine for the Redskins. I don't know how many points they're going to score because they don't really score a lot of points. They scored no points last week against the Saints when they lost 9-0. 49ers, I'm sorry, when they lost 9-0. So we'll see. Tonight, not a good matchup, Redskins and Vikings. Panthers and Calgary at 9 o'clock. Baseball, they're off. Last night, the Nationals, man, they pounded the crap out of the Astros, 12-3. The Nationals are now leading 2-0, and they're going back to Washington now for games 3 and 4. With that pitching, Zach Greinke, Anibal Sanchez, that will be the pitching matchup on Friday, and Anibal has been lights out the last couple months for the Nationals. So we'll see what happens there at 8:07 tomorrow night in Game 3. I mean, we're talking Astros now have to go on the road and win both of these games. I mean, they have to win both. They can't split. They split, it's done. I mean, it's pretty much done now.
Isn't it it's a 2-3-2?
Yeah.
So they got to get 2 to get it. But they got to get 2 out of 3 to get back home.
Easy. Yeah. They can't lose one game. I think if they lose, no, they don't go back. Actually,
well, that's the thing. If
they lose one of those games, they're done. They're not going to win 2 in a row back in.
Even if you bring back Cole and Verlander, man, you think you're going to beat them back to back again?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I just think it's
I mean, the odds of you know what? I remember the stat. They won both games when they pitched like that, like 16, 18 times. They had only lost both games once where Cole and Verlander follow each other. Out of like 28 times? They split like 7 or 8. They won both like 16, 18 times. And one time they lost both games. So I'd say you're not going to beat them both.
Yeah.
Again.
No, but I don't. Not both, but they only need to win one. That's what I'm saying.
No, but look, if Houston can get 2 out of 3, that gets it back to your house.
Right, I know, but I don't think. I think they'll take one of those from you again because they've got the pitching.
So you think Washington's going to win 2 out of the 3, and they're not even going to get to go back home?
Well, no. I'm not saying. I'm just.
So Houston could bring their golf bag with them and be ready to go play golf?
What I'm saying is if you got 3 in Houston, Houston better win all 3.
Oh,
that's my point.
If they want to win the World Series.
Yes.
If you do a 2 out of 3, you're probably going to lose it
done.
back at home.
Yeah, you're going to lose one of those. You're going to lose one of them. Because you're playing against a team that's got your pitching too.
Right.
So it's hard for you to beat them twice.
And in the postseason, it's always about pitching, man.
Always. And they have the pitching. They have the bullpen and they have the pitching. So it's really, really tough.
And their
right
bats
now.
aren't too shabby either.
They could not lose both games to that team. If it was a team that was more about hitting, then I can see you coming back because you've got the pitching. But pitching is everything, man, when you get to this point. And both teams have it. And now they have the 2-0 lead, and they took them both from your house. That's bad news, man. I'm happy for the Nationals. I hope they win. I told you guys this. I was rooting for the Nationals anyway because they've gone through all this. Houston already won their title. So it's not like I need to see them win again. The Nationals, they finally lived up to the hype that we've had for many years about that team. Because we all looked at them like they had World Series caliber talent.
Well, they've had some horrifically catastrophic 8th inning up by 4 runs and just 6 runs scored against them in the 9th.
And many injuries to Strasburg and stuff.
Man, they've had some really...
They've had their share of setbacks throughout all of this. But it's pretty cool to see them kind of come through finally on this. What is that? Okay, no. I was looking at something there that I thought was a decent headline, but it's not. 786-322-1105 is the accidentlawfirm.com text line if you want to get in on the program, 786-322-1105. And we do want to remind you that the show is proudly brought to you by Choice Mortgage Bank. Michael Kodsey. Folks, we can get you into a fixed mortgage rate under 3.5%. Call them right now. Take advantage. Interest rates are at all-time lows right now, historic lows. So right now, we can get you into that fixed mortgage rate under 3.5%. They do it all. Wholesale, conventional, residential loans, condo loans, reverse mortgages, jumbo loans, FHA, VA loans. Let's consolidate all those bills. If you got some equity in that home, let's lower that monthly payment. That way you've got freedom to do more things with your family. Whether it's a college fund, whether it's getting a new car, a vacation, doesn't matter. Call Choice Mortgage Bank. Here is Michael Kodsey's personal cell number. The owner, you can call him anytime. Tell him that I sent you. They will take care of you. 561-441-2730. Rates and terms, subject to change, daily without notice, equal housing lender, NMLS 166254. It's Choice Mortgage Bank.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
fatherland, and forever hand in hand. Take it all out on your stride. It is taking voting down. Love forever, love is free. Let's turn forever, you and me. Windmill, windmill, fatherland is everybody in.
Filtered through the lo-fi, starting it up after dark. Chasing thoughts, cruising through Echo Park. Doing a vote to seat in paradise. Getting tilted, yeah, we'll pay the price. But ain't it nice? Never say goodbye, we say hello. Faded in the sunshine and the snow. All my worst nights are the best times. West Coast stealing all my shut eye. All my worst nights are the good kind. Highlight filtered through the lo-fi. Skipping lines and brushing past the suits. Ducking pictures and dropping some truths. Now I'm getting lost up in the hills. A cruise the gram and now I'm catching feels. Is this for real? Never say goodbye, we say hello. Faded in the sunshine and the snow. All my worst nights are the best times.
right, we're ready to have a little fun here in hour number 2. We take you, of course, till 2. So we got some time here on the program. You want to get in? It's really simple on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Lamar Odom has had this, he's been on this roll of talking about his private life and things that he's gone through and all that good stuff. And not that I would be jealous of him, going out with Khloe Kardashian.
You don't want to go to the Bunny Ranch?
Well, not really. No, I don't really want to go to the Bunny Ranch, but I get what you're at least leading into. But it's not my thrill of, visiting and having to have sex with a bunch of hoes. But he told this story. I didn't know about this, that he broke up with Taraji P. Henson because he fell in love with Khloe Kardashian. So he goes, he's an open book these days, the story says. Odom isn't afraid to share his life as he continues to open up about his relationships and basketball and his life as an athlete and celebrity. The former Los Angeles Lakers star is now opening up about his past relationship with Taraji P. Henson. In the upcoming episode of The Uncensored, which airs this Sunday on TV One, he says, "I just wish I would have done things different. She, Henson, was a little older than me, but I learned a lot from her because that was the most significant relationship as a grown-up that I had with a black woman. I used to carry her pictures on the road with me. Don't nobody know that except for dudes that played with me. She gave me inspiration." You know what I'm saying? A black woman working like that, that's just as good at her craft as I am in my craft. Then he goes on to say, things ended with Taraji because me being an immature punk, I didn't know how to tell her that I was falling in love with another woman named Khloe Kardashian. And that to me, that part, that's where the drugs have had to affect you. See, Khloe Kardashian, Taraji P. Henson. I think there's there's no race there. You're going Taraji all the way. Not Khloe. What's wrong with you,
Unless
dude?
you like that soap opera life, you want to watch fake wrestling or, any of that type of stuff.
I mean, but you're still in the limelight with Taraji P. Henson. You're actually with a legitimate actress. You know what I mean? Not
That's what I'm talking about, that sensationalized bullcrap.
Not some reality crap star that just, has no talent whatsoever.
They know how to lay on their back and spread their legs.
That's about it. That's the only talent. I mean, they can make a porn for you, but that's about it. I'm not just... Come on, Lamar. No wonder you have gone all the way into the abyss. I saw that story, and it was like, really? Dude, you picked Khloe over Taraji P. Henson? Seriously? Is that what you did? Anybody doing that? Are you picking Khloe over Taraji P. Henson? There's no way I'm doing that. That is just, that's absolutely irresponsible. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. You can send us a text there on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, which is always active. I read an article where they were what's it called, speculating that if Brady does leave the Patriots, these are the teams they have on the list: the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Titans, the Bucks, and the Bears. The Raiders, you would have to give up on Derek Carr already at that point. I don't think Derek Carr is a guy you give up on. Derek Carr, I don't think, if he stays healthy, that was really the only knock I think he's had, is that he's had his injuries. So I don't really think you give up on him when he's young still, and you're going to give up on it. You're going to bring in a guy, and you're not really a Super Bowl team in the next year or two.
But the way the Raiders are, them being in Vegas, first season, big splash, Brady's our quarterback.
Brady doesn't care about any of that.
Yeah, but that's the way the Raiders are, though. You know what I mean?
But that's not Brady. So it doesn't make any sense. That's my point. I don't care what the Raiders are. I'm talking about Brady. He's not going to go to the Raiders. They're not a Super Bowl team even with him. Dolphins, they're not a Super Bowl team with him. They're not close to it right now. Okay? So you don't get the Dolphins. You don't get Brady. Titans. Now the Titans got a decent line. They got a running game. They got a decent defense. That might not be the worst place. They don't have great weapons, but all right, I can see that. The Bucs, well, the Bucs have some talent on that defense. Offensively, you know that Jameis Winston is not the answer. He makes way too many mistakes. He just doesn't – his game does not mature. Not only – maybe Jameis is starting to mature, but his game has not matured. And then the Bears. To me, again, and when they write that article, I keep saying, like I've said for the last couple of days, since Schefter broke that on Monday night, I'm going to stick with it, man. That's what I told you guys on that Tuesday, that the Bears, to me, are the one team that would make a lot of sense. It would be like the perfect universe, because the front office and the coaching staff of the Bears needs to kind of make up for screwing up with Trubisky. And you can't go get another young quarterback because your team is ready right now.
Well, you probably would also screw it up like you did. I mean, you go and give up all the stuff to move up to get this guy, and the two guys drafted behind you,
maybe not.
Mahomes and Watson, are kicking butt.
Yeah, but they've done good with the rest of their roster. It's kind of like Minnesota. It's kind of like Spielman. Spielman's done a really good job of building a Minnesota. He just can't solve the damn quarterback issue. And so that's what the Bears have to do. They've picked everything else. They've made
our offensive line is
they traded for Khalil. Well, but that's because of the injuries too.
Yeah,
it wasn't
Chris Long. Yeah,
wasn't that they were a bad line? Is that they've had some injuries and they have to replace Chris Long because you can't count on him anymore. So you got to replace him now. So they've got to draft. But you could draft linemen. You can find linemen. That's not the end of the world. It's finding that quarterback. But they can't go get a young quarterback because your team is ready right now, and you can't put a rookie in that position to carry your team. So you got to get a veteran. And Brady would make all the sense in the world.
You do know the Bears have never really – I mean, we had McMahon, but other than that, Rex Grossman got us to the Super – no, it was the defense that got us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But
Cutler, please give me a break.
But what is that? What was your point? I don't know what your point was with that.
Well, because if we get Brady, we've never had anything like that.
So
ever.
What? It doesn't matter.
Ever.
The history doesn't matter to any of that. These guys are making their own history, and that's the way you would if he leaves. Okay, which I don't know if he's leaving or not. I have no idea. But the way Schefter drew it up, and after everything that happened with Garoppolo and all that stuff the last 2 years, I can see something like that.
Did you hear something about somebody saying that he was getting involved in a new business, though, in the area?
No, I have no idea.
Last night on ESPN.
But again, that doesn't mean anything either.
I mean, yeah, obviously you can invest
you can
in
still
it and
leave.
leave. Right.
Yeah, but you're selling your home? That's weird. I mean, you sell your home, and then you're buying another one somewhere.
Well, one of the
area.
speculations was maybe he's sick of that home and he wants to get a new and improved home.
Well, you would have gotten it already, is what I'm saying. You're already if people like that, if they're selling the home, they already would have purchased another home and already started preparing that home to move in, because they usually do all kinds of construction and all kinds of stuff that they got to fix up.
And they have the money to go get that house. They don't have to wait for this one to move to go get that one. Yeah, you're right.
Giselle has that money in her ashtray. Okay? In her ashtray. Because she doesn't smoke. So she has all that money in her ashtray. Just give me the money that Brady and Giselle having their ashtrays, and I'm good. I got no problem. None whatsoever. It's a beautiful thing. Gotta love it. It's amazing.
Can I have 55 seconds?
Yes, let's have 55 seconds. You want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. Remember, you can reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit offers and 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
All righty. We are back. Plenty to talk about. We got Tom D'Angelo, by the way. He's going to join us at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock. So we'll talk a little Heat basketball with him. We've got Dolphins-wise. The Dolphins have the Steelers on Monday. So we've got the weekend still. We won't be really talking about the matchup probably until Monday, and then we'll have a little fun and we'll talk about the matchup with the Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I read where Minkah Fitzpatrick doesn't expect a negative reception from his teammates, which he shouldn't. I mean, if you're a teammate of his, he made a business decision. He chose not to want to be a part of the rebuild. Maybe he didn't believe in the rebuild. Whatever, for whatever reason, he's entitled to that, and he wanted to do it. I don't think any teammates should be mad at him. Now, if this was a home game and it was here at Hard Rock Stadium, I wonder how the fans would react for Minkah. I think there would be a lot of boos for Minkah. I really do. I don't think Minkah's going to have a warm reception by Dolphin fans, but I don't think his teammates should care at all. So I would agree with that. The other piece of news, it's not really news, but Kenyon Drake is still rumored to be on the trading block. So they're trying to move him if they can, which makes a ton of sense if they're able to do it. But like I've told you guys now for several weeks, Albert Wilson has not agreed with the Dolphins' plan. Unfortunately, he had some injuries he can't control, and he hasn't been able to really, now he's back, but I mean really get on the field for several weeks, which would have been the perfect scenario, and play well and then be tradable. Right now he's got money left on his deal, and he looks injury-prone, and so you can't really sign Albert. Well, I mean, in your right mind, if you're a good team, you can't be giving away picks for Albert Wilson. A pick, I mean, for Albert Wilson, not picks. And then the other guy is Devontae Parker, who has played better the last couple of weeks and has been consistent, but not enough to entice a team, especially when guys like Mohamed Sanu were available and Emmanuel Sanders and now A.J. Green. So you think about it, what are you going to do? Take a chance on Devontae Parker, who's never broken through, who's never been consistent, who never stays healthy? Or you're going to take a chance on A.J. Green, who, yeah, is coming off an injury, but you know he's a star. And if A.J. Green is healthy, are you kidding me? You're adding a #1 wide receiver in the middle of the season, whereas Devontae Parker, you have no idea what you're adding. So that's where that makes it very interesting, the situation with the Dolphins. and with some of their players that they would like to trade. Kenyon Drake is the one guy, but again, what's Kenyon going to bring back at this point? He's in a final year. He's injury prone. He's not consistent. And he's got a boatload of talent. I like him personally as a player. I think he can be a player. But the business, I understand. And like we talked about this on earlier shows, that if I told you, okay, are you comfortable paying Kenyon Drake up front and giving him a signing bonus and signing him to a long-term deal? You can't be. You can't be. Because he hasn't given you enough proof that he's worthy of it and that he could actually live up to it. And the way that Mark Walton is playing, that, my friends, that is fun. And that may be something you're interested in committing to down the line. But that's the beauty of the Mark Walton situation. You have more control over that one. Whereas the Kenyon Drake one, you're up against the deadline. It's coming up. And you've got to make a decision. And you can't. You can't make an educated decision with Kenyon Drake at this point in time. It sucks. It really sucks. But anyway, we'll see what the Dolphins do on Monday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about that on Monday after another weekend here. Patriots, going back to the Patriots, they have lost Josh Gordon. They placed him on the IR. He apparently has 2 bone bruises in his knee, and he'll be waived off IR once healthy. And I bring this up because notice how that after the Mohamed Sanu move happened, then this all came to light. And it's a smart organization. They knew he had, obviously, because it was already, there were already some setbacks, but it really didn't come to light what was going on. And that they probably did that so they don't lose a lot of leverage, because then they look more desperate to add a wide receiver. And so they add Sanu, and then the whole thing comes out with Josh Gordon now. And really, the Patriots got way better. Because Sanu is a guy you can legitimately count on week in and week out. And he doesn't have any off-the-field issues, which that's the other thing that the Patriots now have rid themselves of, a guy that they have to baby, a guy they have to track, a guy they have to hope will stay on the right track. And also, let's look at the big picture here for Josh Gordon. This is the worst thing that can happen to Josh Gordon. He suffers the injuries. He now is going to be released. He now has to fight these demons on his own, which he has to fight every single day. But at least with the Patriots around him and working with him, he has that carrot dangling in front that maybe motivates him to stay away from those demons.
Structure.
Yeah. And that, obviously, he's a guy that has no structure and desperately needs it and can't really live by it. And so now you're going to eliminate the Patriots. Who steps in? Is there a team that does step in?
The Raiders.
Is there a wow. Yeah, that's structure right there. Yeah, they'll provide the structure he needs. But think about that. I fear for Josh Gordon. I really do. I feel for him. Because this is one of those situations where, look, and I think we all know somebody that has dealt with some kind of an addiction and that it got the best of them. We have plenty of people in this world that unfortunately live with those kind of demons. And now he will not have that to help him. And you pray for the best for Josh Gordon. But this is not good for him. And hopefully his story has a happy ending. Hopefully somehow or another he's able to figure out how to leave his past behind him, and it doesn't haunt him again. It's a shame because he's got a lot of talent.
Stay away from that. What's the quarterback kid that he was running around with for a while?
Oh, Johnny Manziel?
Thank you.
Yeah, another guy. Yeah, you definitely want to stay away from those kind of people. Speaking of the Steelers, Antonio Brown was at the game last night for the Miami Heat. He was there. Eric Reed is one of those guys, he's never going to be controversial or anything like that. But he might have said the most controversial thing I've ever heard him say when I saw it. He goes, well, Antonio Brown, he has a lot more time on his hands nowadays. But then he followed up with, well, we hope he solves his issues and is with the football team soon.
He just wanted to get up on the roof and throw some furniture off.
Yeah, up on the AAA. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. Anyway, let's tell you a little bit about Caneswear. Have you seen the Parlay jersey? The Parlay jersey, it's recycled ocean plastic yarn to promote more sustainable ways of living. And so they were able to collect a lot of this stuff that is going to pollute our oceans. And they made it into jerseys. And they're really, really cool. You got to check them out, the Parlay jerseys. They've got them at Caneswear. Go see Brett and all the great people at Caneswear. All right. And they've got a great promo code, Big O 20P. That's right. And that gives you 20% off the Parlay jersey. So get on down to Caneswear, 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and buy that Parlay jersey and get 20% off. Big O 20P is the code. You can go online. So if you can't go on down to Davie, maybe you live in another state, maybe you live down in the Keys, maybe you live up in, Hobe Sound, and you don't want to drive all the way down to Davie, go on to Caneswear.com, check out the Parlay jerseys, order one, and use the promo code BIG-O20P, and you'll get 20% off of that. Remember, when you order $99 or more online, you will get free shipping, and they've got it all from jerseys and hats and T-shirts. They've got over 100 different T-shirts. They've got all kinds of memorabilia. They've got autographed memorabilia also, beautiful Canes, sneakers. Check it out, 2511 South University Drive in Davie, baby. Tell them, of course, Big O sent you. They will take care of you at Caneswear. That's the spot where fans like me shop.
America's best-selling third-row luxury SUV of all time is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. MDX, $10,000 off at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back. It's a beautiful thing. We take you, of course, till 2. My man Tom D'Angelo will be joining us at 1 o'clock. We'll have a little fun with Tom. We'll talk a little bit about the Miami Heat. And, speaking of the Heat, there is one thing that kind of came to my mind about the James Johnson situation. And one of the things that they talked about is how maybe things were slipping a little bit in Heatland. They were letting things slide. So why? Why did you let it get to this point that James Johnson would be called out like this? So apparently things were sliding since last year. And I don't know if it was the environment. I don't know if it's having Whiteside around and all that.
I was going to say, blame it on Whiteside.
Yeah, no, I mean, seriously. I can't imagine that guy was Mr. Discipline and following everything that he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? So he did have I think he had a pretty good night last night. I'm pretty sure of that. I think I saw it I saw one of the beat writers from the game talking about how Whiteside was dominating, actually.
Yeah, you know what he needs to do?
It's game one, obviously. It's like the child that gets really excited about something that they do the first time, and then when they realize they've got to do it over and over again, you don't see the same effort and all that. That's kind of the same thing with Whiteside. He'll be excited early on, and then, whatever. I know Lillard had one hell of a dunk. It was against the Nuggets last night, and Portland lost 108-100. Whiteside had 16 points on 6 of 7 shooting, 19 rebounds, and 2 block shots and 4 turnovers.
Yeah, you know what? It
So he
rains
played
there
well.
a lot. Go outside and play in the rain, buddy.
Yeah, 32 points for Damian Lillard last night, and McCollum only had 12 on 5 of 18 shooting. It's probably why they lost. McCollum and Damian have they have a lot to show this year, because what they did in the playoffs was really, really bad. It was a bad look for those two guys, because it's one of the best backcourts in the NBA, and they did not show up in the playoffs. That was embarrassing. They should be really motivated to get back to the playoffs and put together a more respectable showing in the playoffs. We'll see. But going back to the Heat thing, I did find it interesting, because I was thinking about this, that the whole James Johnson situation, he didn't play last night. And so I don't know how out of shape. We are talking about a dude that's a black belt, and I know he can kick my ass and most of your asses out there. Now, Steven Seagal can do the same thing, and he's a big fat ass.
Remember, Elvis Presley was a third-degree black belt.
Yeah, but
and
not,
he got chunky and fat at the end.
but not at the end, probably. He probably no longer can kick at that point. All right, but Steven Seagal, I feel, could still kick your ass, and he's 300 pounds nowadays. You look at Steven Seagal, he's a big dude. Wouldn't want to mess with him. So it doesn't matter you're a black belt. You can still be, a flexible big dude that's a black belt. But it's weird how he would be that out of shape because he thought he could get away with it. And then there was some talk that, things were kind of slipping at the Heat and that they had to tighten up the screws. So what happened the last couple of years that things got slipping a little? Why? That's a question to really wonder. Because yesterday, okay, so you don't have James Johnson, which it's not like the end of the world. You don't have Jimmy Butler, and you went out and, not that Memphis is great, but still Miami is a young team and a team that they're not a playoff team. So it's not like they're a really good team or anything like this. And they went and took care of business. But the whole James Johnson thing, it's one where I just kind of scratch my head. Okay, so why were they slipping? What was it with the Heat culture that slipped up a little bit and was allowing players to not come in at their best, which is something that you've never heard of with under Riley.
Well, I'm going to
here.
tell you one thing he wasn't doing.
Doesn't exist.
Waiter lost weight. James Johnson gained weight, so those two weren't hanging out together.
No. One was going around in the drive-thru, and the other one wasn't. Yep. Now, Dion knew he had to lose weight because he heard plenty of jokes last year about his weight. And with social media now, fans really get to express themselves. And the players find out about it. See, 20 years ago, you guys could make all kinds of fat jokes of Dion Waiters last year, and nobody would ever find out. Maybe you'd call a radio station, And maybe you know, and there'd be a segment where people would be talking about his weight, and if he got a whiff of it, fine, and that's it. But when you're on social media and people can reach out to you at any time, and they're sending you memes, and they're sending you all kinds of stuff, and GIFs, right? Is that what it's called? GIFs? And they're sending you fat GIFs and all that, then things change a little bit. Because the guy in Minnesota or the guy in South Dakota or right here in your backyard in South Florida can tell you that you're fat. So Dion had plenty of motivation, not just professionally, to kind of lose the weight because people were looking at him like, yo, what's up with that? But the question I have is, why was it slipping with the Heat? Why was the culture slipping? Why did they allow it to slip? And all of a sudden they wanted to get a grip of the slip and tighten it up here. And James Johnson obviously was set as the example for it. Just interesting. We got a couple games tonight. Bucks and Rockets tonight at 8 o'clock. Team that's going to be playing Miami on Saturday. Rockets are -2. The over and under is 23.5. The other game that's a watch, but this is a TNT night, by the way, tonight. Clippers are at the Warriors. So we get to see the new look Warriors now and how good they're going to be without Klay Thompson, which I think Kerr said the other day that he doesn't expect Klay to play this season, which would make a lot of sense, man. You're not winning a title this year. Just let him rest. Let him rehab the entire season so next year his knee will be as strong as possible and a better chance to contribute for you.
If they just signed him to a major contract too.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think let's look at the long picture, not the short, because that contract is guaranteed.
Yeah.
Also, TNT, isn't our man D Wade part of the group
Yes,
now?
he joined them. Yes.
So we get to see him tonight.
Yeah, he does. He'll do. He's going to do.
Is this his debut?
This is
this
Wade,
his first go?
Wade is joining TNT's NBA coverage and Final Four coverage. He's also going to be a creative director on the Bleacher Report. I had all these notes from yesterday's show. I just never ended up using them. Like always, I always have 400 notes, and I never use half of them. Never use half our sound we have and half the notes we have. But anyway, that's how you got to over prepare. No, but of course we don't really prepare. We just turn on the mic and talk for 3 hours because it's all in here.
Hey,
I mean,
maybe you,
I got
guy.
3 hours.
Maybe you, man. I'm over here.
Nobody can do that in this business, dude. Nobody sits down for 2-3 hours with no preparation and no direction and no guests and no nothing and all that good stuff. Everybody has to prepare. Everybody has to put in a lot of work to do these kind of things. But anyway, we will see him do his thing on TNT with Shaq and the boys. So that's cool. Started doing it already. So we'll get to see a little bit more of it tonight with TNT. I like that. And then we've got a couple of really interesting games tonight. Bucks and Rockets and Clippers and Warriors. Obviously, I'm going to be watching the Panthers tonight at 9 o'clock because I'm a big Panthers fan, and I think we're going to have a fantastic season. I think some of you out there are going to become big Panther fans. You're going to get hooked on it once you get to see it. And once you get to see that, once you believe also in this team, I think that's what it also takes. Because they've let you down so much in the past that you kind of almost, some of you are already expecting it to happen again. I'm sure a few nights back you were saying same old Panthers when they were losing. But I think now, they're starting to turn that corner and they're playing well. And tonight would be great to pick up a win and keep that momentum going. I loved it that they beat Pittsburgh the other night here at home, because the hometown fans need to see more of those kind of performances so they can believe in this product. But tonight's going to be a lot of fun because you got Panthers hockey, you got two great basketball games. The football game sucks. unless you have fantasy implications, why would you care about Redskins-Vikings? Right? There's no reason to care about Redskins-Vikings unless you're a Vikings fan. A Redskins fan at this point, you're 1-6. How about this, too? I thought this was kind of, I'll call it disturbing to a certain extent. Okay, you're 1-6, your team sucks, and your young quarterback is so far behind, and I'm talking about Haskins, that they've got to play the other guys. Because it's embarrassing how bad Haskins is behind, and he's got to wait. Now, that sucks, that's pathetic, that's embarrassing to a certain extent. On the flip side, let's give these teams credit. And I say teams because there's another example. You do have to, you do want to help them succeed. And you do that by preparing them. And if they are not prepared because they are not answering all the questions, they are not doing all the right things on the practice field, then you will be doing them a disservice by starting them. Because you're setting them up to fail, basically. So that part I do understand. Now, for a fan, that's kind of disturbing because you want to see that position develop, and especially when you need one badly. And then on the flip side, I'll give you another one. And remember, in football, we're not talking about these players that are one and done. They were in college for several years. So you would hope that they would come out of there with something. Obviously, they're not going to be perfect and they're not going to know pro systems, but you would hope that they would come out with some level of comfort and intelligence at high, IQ football-wise. And clearly Haskins is behind. Well, in Denver, they have the same issue. They have a young quarterback, and he's not ready to play. And they can't put him out there on the field. And their team is terrible because they're not going anywhere in Denver. So that, you think about that. Okay, so you're a Ravens fan. Your team, you're a Ravens fan. You're a Redskins fan. And your team is going nowhere. Okay? You'd like to see your rookie quarterback, and he is not even worthy of playing right now because he's so far behind. So this entire season, or the games that are left, would give you an opportunity to get him some experience, and you can't do that. That sucks. That's what that.
Oh, I got to say, I'm kind of surprised because that kid last year at Ohio State, man,
threw like 50 touchdowns.
I mean,
And it
and
shows
gorgeous.
you, maybe-
Could throw every pass, man.
Yeah.
And accurate, and he's a pocket passer. He's old school.
Yeah.
Why is he having such a hard time
I don't know.
transitioning?
I don't know.
Because it didn't look like this kid had a problem throwing the ball.
Right. But he played like a quarter and threw 3 interceptions. And then and so he's not even ready yet.
Was that up against San Francisco last week?
No, it was a couple weeks ago.
It was because they shut him down after.
Yeah.
And it was like, come on, man, you got to expect. I can remember a couple of people saying, come on, man, you got to expect the kid to make some mistakes. Give him a chance.
Well, and Drew Lock is a guy that played in the SEC. And Elway goes, not ready yet. And
coming out of the SEC, facing those defenses, okay, you would think if anybody's ready, it'd be him.
Now you're John Elway. Now here's where the Washington situation and the Denver situation are a little different. The Washington situation, you have a coach that probably didn't even want the quarterback, supposedly, right? Now they fired him. So there was already a divide there for him. And the people that picked him, Allen and the owner, it's not the same as Elway. Elway's ass is on the line. Not that he was going to lose his job this year or anything like that, but what I mean by his ass is he can't find a quarterback. I mean, he's terrible at finding a quarterback. And so he's so terrible and he failed miserably with all the other young quarterbacks that he went and got Flacco now. After failing with Keenum that he got from Minnesota, which was stupid last year. Because, come on. Case had that year with Minnesota. He wasn't going to do that again. But your Elway, think about this. You go to Drew Lock now. You now proved again you suck at getting a quarterback because Flacco failed for you. Okay? So think about this. So, and if the young guy goes in there and flops, how does Elway look now? So that's a hairy situation in Denver. And John Elway is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. One of the freakish athletes to ever play the quarterback position. Okay? So you're talking about a guy that should know the position, and he can't find a quarterback that's not named Peyton Manning. And wow, you guys would struggle at picking Peyton Manning, right? Anybody could pick Peyton Manning. Doesn't matter. A 12-year-old can pick Peyton Manning and say, go get him.
Yeah, but you're talking about him having like this horrible touch with quarterbacks.
And
Peyton Manning did regress and end up having the worst stats ever in a Super Bowl.
I know, but that's injury. You know, and the
so
defense.
You can't blame that on Elway.
No, I can't.
It's just I'm saying Elway might have this. You were a great quarterback, but you can't find another you.
No, but he can find great defenses.
You know, that's really weird. Think about that.
Well, no, it's not weird. Steve Spurrier, okay, fun and gun. What was he at South Carolina? It was all defense.
Javon Clowney, man.
All no, he had several defensive players on a team, but their defenses were the bomb at South Carolina while he was there. It wasn't their offenses.
Not at all.
There was no fun and no gun. Weird. John Elway, he's best known for his defenses.
It's been all defense. Yep.
Any moron can go sign Elway. In fact, our team was trying to sign him. Shows you morons. Because there are no bigger morons than the Dolphins the last 20 years, and they were trying to go after Elway because it doesn't take a lot of intelligence. Hey, John Elway's a Hall of Famer. Let's go get him for our team. But everything else he's done, all those young guys he's brought in.
Not one of them.
Not one. And so now with the Drew Lock thing, he's got to be careful.
And you know what? Not only that, but none of those guys have even been close.
No,
and they've all had ample time, games, and they've all failed.
Busts.
Let me ask you, is
busts.
the fact that, because my Bears defensive coordinator's over there as the head coach, does that hinder you finding a quarterback? The fact that you have a defensive head coach now?
What?
The head coach over at Denver is my ex-Bear defensive coordinator, Fangio.
What about him? Yeah.
Does having a defensive-minded head coach kind of make it not so easy, make it not so quick to get a quarterback, develop a quarterback?
No. That has nothing to do with one or the other.
No?
No, if you're a quarterback, that's
I'm
a godsend.
I'm thinking Buddy Ryan back in the day and all these defensive coaches.
Buddy Ryan was a divisive guy. So that's different. That's a whole.
It's just those defensive head coaches.
Completely different.
That often, it's
No, that doesn't make a difference because the guy that's running the show is the offensive guy. So it doesn't matter. And he's dying to find that quarterback. I mean, John Elway desperately needs that now. It's weird. And it's impossible to fire him. It's impossible to pick on him because he's done a really good job overall. He's won a title, man. I mean, what more do you want? So they've had some really good years there in Denver, not just the title year, but they've had some really good years under John. But it is amazing how John does not have an eye for QB talent. That is the weirdest thing out there. How that guy can't figure out the position he played. I was at the Senior Bowl last year, and I'm standing there, and I'm standing behind Marino and Elway talking to each other as they're watching the quarterbacks. Drew Lock was on that field in the Senior Bowl. And I'm sitting there going, I wonder what these two are talking about. You know what I mean? What the hell are they talking about? What's the conversation going on with those two? And to watch him go through his struggles, and he can't figure out the quarterback position, that shows you how difficult this is. Because we would assume, okay, that if you're Marino, you're Joe Montana, you're Steve Young, you're John Elway, that you could sit in a room with personnel guys and talk QBs, and if they told you, all right, we need your help in finding one, you would feel pretty good about what they would pick after they would watch the film, maybe even do an interview with the kid, kind of figure things out and say, yeah, no, I like this guy. And John Elway's had that opportunity now for 10 years. And I don't even know how long it's been. It's probably been a little bit more that he's been the GM of Denver. And the dude cannot find a quarterback if his life depended on it.
Is there any more hit and miss
Position?
than the QB?
None.
I mean, because I'm thinking
They're gonna mostly
Ryan
miss.
Leaf, Marino was the 5th quarterback taken. Trubisky's taken before Mahomes and Watson.
Right.
There's so many years that you have this, and it's like, Brady, 5th round. Seriously?
Yeah.
And he ends up being the greatest.
It's an inexact science, man.
Montana, another one.
3rd round.
No, yeah. I mean, you're literally rolling the dice, bro.
Kurt Warner, Arena League.
Yeah.
Undrafted. Arena League, bagging groceries, and the guy was deadly accurate. One of the most accurate quarterbacks I have ever seen in my life, dude.
How long did it take Favre to develop?
Well, yeah. Well, but Favre is different than everybody else, bro. Favre was a gunslinger at its core. So it was something that you had to live with, is what, like, I mean, Holmgren described it.
Right.
That, yeah, you taught him, and he got better, but he was always going to take all those crazy-ass chances because he was always throwing interceptions. I mean, Favre was a great player, but Favre also played a lot of stupid football.
What was that playoff game against New Orleans? 6 or 7 interceptions?
Yeah, he has his moments where you would scratch your head and you're like, Brett, what the hell are you thinking? But the problem, you had to live with it because he could bury you and then get you out of that hole and win the game. You know, like Andrew Luck could do that too. But you have to be great to be able to have that skill set, that you can bury yourself and then you're so good you can climb out of it.
Right.
I mean, that's some impressive
Yeah, because usually
stuff.
when a quarterback goes south, that's
You're
it.
done.
Yeah.
You're done.
You never get out of that hole.
But there are few.
You know what?
Marino did it a couple times too. There were a couple times where Marino had a bad half, and you're down by 14, you're down by 20, and then the second half he comes out, and you're like,
You know what? A
only
career.
Marino.
Steve Young kicked butt in L.A., goes to Tampa with the NFL,
Right.
does nothing, and then goes to San Francisco and rejuvenates what he
Right.
was doing in L.A.
Well,
like roller coaster
you're with
ride.
Bill Walsh.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah.
You get to be with with one of the greatest offensive minds in the history of the game, and a guy that also he was getting the Paul Brown system and making it that West Coast that we all know now. Because really the West Coast offense did not really come up in the West Coast. It came up in the Midwest in Cincinnati with Paul Brown. And Bill Walsh was one of the assistants, okay? So was Sam Weish. He was one of the assistants. And so those guys then got Paul Brown's offense and then made it the West Coast offense. But the West Coast offense was created by accident. It was Paul Brown's team in Cincinnati could not run the ball. And so then he thought of, well, if we can't run it, let's use short passes to the running backs to augment the running game so we can get yardage. And there grew, and there the West Coast offense was born. And then that's when Bill Walsh got it and got those elements and then used some of the stuff that Sid Gilman also was using, and you kind of mix it all up, and then he created the West Coast offense, which is now what everybody uses, and they've done all kinds of things.
The other thing,
whether it's Mouse Davis or anybody else that did run and shoot, that they then went to other areas and spread out the West Coast and did a couple other things to it.
20 scripted plays to start the game.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Yeah, that's a Walsh thing. That was Walsh right there. But actually, the West Coast offense was born in Cincinnati with the Bengals and Paul Brown. So anybody that tells you West Coast offense,
you're
Bill
going
Walsh,
way, but Paul Brown, you're talking 50s, 60s, brother.
Yeah, 70s too. 70s. He was also there in the 70s. But yeah, so those guys are the ones that Paul is actually the one that created it, and then that's how it really ended up developing. All right, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little basketball. Tom D'Angelo is going to join us when we come back on the other side. Hey, on Monday, we're going to be out at Dandy Donuts. We're going to be out there with Bobby and Frank and Laura and all the amazing people out there at 102 North 28th Avenue. Can't wait to have a delicious glazed donut, my favorite. They use the real honey. I tell you about it all the time. They open at 5 a.m. every single day, close at 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Sunday, they close at 3 p.m. You can call them if you want to order and you want to pick up 954-928-1118. Go to the Instagram account, Dandy_Hollywood. Remember, it's only the Hollywood location. They serve a delicious breakfast there and lunch. Their food is amazing. The ingredients are second to none. All quality. That's why whatever you have there, I don't care if it's the donuts, I don't care if you're having breakfast or lunch, you're going to taste quality from beginning to end. Go to the website, only the Hollywood location, dandyhollywood.com.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Windmill, windmill for the land, forever hand in hand. Take it all, live on your stride. It is taking voting down. Love forever, love is free. Let's turn forever, you and me. Windmill, windmill for the land. Is everybody in?
Filtered through the lo-fi, starting it up after dark. Chasing thoughts, cruising through Echo Park. John Travolta seat in paradise. Getting tilted, yeah, we'll pay the price. But ain't it nice? Never.
All right, we're ready to start off hour number 3. We promised you we're going to talk a little basketball now. We've been talking a lot of basketball, actually, today. Tom D'Angelo from the Palm Beach Post covers the Miami Heat. Been covering it for many, many years now, covering a lot of things here in South Florida. You can follow him on Twitter like I and so many others do at Tom D'Angelo 44 and catch his exceptional work at the Palm Beach Post. Good afternoon, my man. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great, Orlando. Great to talk to you again.
It is great to have you on, my brother, and welcome aboard to the show. We haven't really found out, but it doesn't look like this is anything serious with the whole Jimmy Butler thing, right? It's got to be something.
No. I think, in fact, they expect them back to practice tomorrow, I believe. I do know they expect them to be playing Saturday night. It was just a personal thing, and even the way Eric Spoelstra announced it, he had a smile on his face, like, "Hey, everything's good. You'll find out." And and that's it. And then later on, it was put out there they do expect them to play Saturday night in Milwaukee.
All right, good. That's good to hear, and hopefully it's a beautiful bouncing baby. Don't know if it's a boy or girl, and hopefully it's nice and healthy, which is really all that matters. I just wish they would have just said, "Hey, it's a family issue, nothing serious. Let him tell you, and everything will be fine." And then that's it. It would have been just, that's it. You would have ended everything. We don't have to speculate at all or just imagine. Because unfortunately, with Jimmy, you have to think of some of that because of the controversies of the past.
Yeah, and they did all they could to alleviate any fears or at least Eric did, to put it out there that this isn't something that's serious, that this is a good thing, the way he was smiling when he was talking about it. So everybody kind of assumed what it was. But yeah, I mean, some people want things. I can't blame anyone for the way things are handled. That's a personal choice for anybody. And some things people want stuff out there, some don't. And that's their personal choice.
Amazing stuff. All right. Last night, it turned out, while people are driving to the game, they're probably disappointed that Jimmy's not there, the centerpiece of the team. I think it became a blessing in disguise, Tom, because you got a chance to see that youth movement, and you got to see Justice Winslow take a real leadership role last night, and he really embraced it. And then you watch what Kendrick did, and Tyler helped out, and the Silva kid was fantastic, and Bam added a double-double. I thought there were a ton of positives last night if you're a Heat fan.
There were so many, and you're right. Even all of us in that room, it was kind of like there was a stunned silence when Eric said that Jimmy Butler wasn't playing, and it was like, it's kind of like the air was let out of the balloon. And, it didn't start. I mean, the start was pretty good, but I mean, even still, going through the middle of the game, thinking, oh boy, same old thing, not exciting, but boy, did that fourth quarter show us what this can be. Look, this team needs Jimmy Butler. Obviously, this team is not contending for a championship, and it's in the middle of the pack, and your ceiling probably is fourth or fifth in the East, but it's going to be a different fourth or fifth. It's going to be a different year than we've seen for the last 3 years. And you hit it. I mean, you have 3 young kids. Now, Silva's going to spend most of his time in the G League. He's on a two-way contract. But when you think about during that 24-1 run, there was a majority of that time, 3 rookies were on the floor during that time. 3 rookies. And the most talented rookie coming into this game, Ja Morant of Memphis, was basically, he was just invisible. He did nothing that stood out. And you could say, arguably, well, for sure, Kendrick Nunn, but you could say, arguably, all 3 of these rookies had more of an impact on this game than the guy who was supposed to be, came out of the league, came out of college as a second, or into the draft as the second best player in the draft. And that's not obvious. I'm not saying that any one of them would have a better career than Jeremy, but for one night, we saw a lot of the future, and you can add Bam Adebayo and Justice Winslow to that. We saw great leadership. You contrast what Goran Dragic and how he's handling his situation to the way that Dion Waiters has handled his situation, and Goran coming off the bench and scoring 19 points and giving that leadership. He's going to be a huge, valuable part of that bench and as the 6th man. and just kind of the other pieces, the Myers Leonards of the world, the Derek Jones, Kelly Olynyk and Duncan Robinson. These guys are going to have their moments at different times. It's just going to be a very interesting season. I'm just really interested now. Now it gives us a little more intrigue to Saturday night to see how it works with Jimmy Butler into the equation.
And how interesting of a twist that if Butler did play, a lot of us would think, well, Hero was going to be the starter. No. It was going to be Kendrick Nunn that was going to start next to Butler, not Tyler Hero. How about that? I thought that was an interesting twist.
Kendrick Nunn is, I'll tell you, you talk about a find, and we can go back, and you and I do go back to the days of the Sean Leonards and Ike Austins, and you go back to Udonis even after that, and the Tyler Johnsons of the world. These guys that the Heat have a penchant for just finding off the scrap heap, guys that no one else had an interest in. Kendrick Nunn could be the next guy in that line. I mean, this is a guy that he is scrappy. He defends, and Eric said after the game last night, he just shows there is no panic in this guy. He's just his level, just his demeanor on the court is. You don't know whether you're up 20 or down 20. He just plays hard all the time, and he just is a good. You kind of, I think you split him and Tyler Hero up because you get they kind of in their energy and what they'll bring to the floor. For Kendrick Nunn out there with Justice to start a game, you have Tyler Hero and Goran Dragic as your kind of your backcourt coming off the bench. You're set for the game. You've got 2 nice pairings there, and you can work. You can just work them the 2 pairings together, and then they can interchange. But you kind of set for the game. It's an interesting strategy how he's wanting to right now. It appears we'll see Saturday night, but it appears he will go with Nunn in the starting lineup with Justice and have Tyler Hero kind of with Goran coming off the bench.
It's and I got to say something. Tom D'Angelo, by the way, from the Palm Beach Post, joining us here. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at TomD'Angelo44. Tom, I am now more intrigued every single day by Kendrick Nunn. I love Tyler because I think Tyler has he's got the skill set you ultimately need in this league, and that's shooting. The kid can shoot. You can't teach that. So that's awesome. But his body is, you could tell Kendrick being a year in the G League, his body's a little bit more filled out. And I think physically he's ahead of Tyler right now. And I'm really intrigued to see where the development of this young man goes, because if all of a sudden you hit on Tyler and you hit on Kendrick in this year, that is who knows what you're going to get out of this. But if you hit on these guys, this is really going to fast track you into getting to be a better team.
Well, and here's what it does. The NBA has it's come off needing it. You don't need the 3 players anymore. We see teams now trying to get the 2 stars. The Clippers are going to probably personify that this year with Leonard and with Paul George. Probably the 2 stars. The Lakers are trying it that way to win a championship. Houston's going that route. Okay, so it's not so much teams trying to get 3. Well, the Heat have 1, And if you hit on these guys and you determine that you may need one to trade somebody, maybe one as a commodity to pick up a second, a second superstar type player or star player, you have a lot of options. If you want to, keep them both, the way this team is constructed, I believe the next step will probably be a trade to get another player. Every summer there are guys in the market we don't ever expect to be in the market. Like Paul George was last year, like Paul George was 3 years ago, like Russell Westbrook last year. There are going to be multiple players every summer that come up that are going to be traded that are top 15 talents in the league. And when you can put together a package, when you have that cap space coming down because you were able to, for everything Pat Riley did that we could criticize him for 3 years ago, man, he he turned it around this summer by doing what he did when he entered the summer, $30 million over the cap. So you got rid of the Hassan Whiteside contract. You were able to bring in one star. You can do that again next summer. You're right up there, especially in a conference that, this isn't the West. This isn't a deep conference. This is a team right now that probably could fight for fourth, and that probably wouldn't be 7 or 8 in the West. That's how this is. There's a lot of teams that have dropped back, like the Bostons of the world and Toronto. It's really, to me, a 2-team conference. So they are not that far away. They're like one more major trade or major signing trade from doing this. And the more guys you have that are playing well, that you develop, the closer you are to being able to pull off that kind of trade.
Yeah, and I've said this, I like the Butler move, but it's only going to matter if you add a star this year or next year.
Exactly. He's not going to be one. He's not going to do it alone. You're exactly right.
No, and it's not. And not only that, you have to add him this year or next year. If you wait till 2021, I don't believe Jimmy will be the player that you wanted him to be, that you got now. Probably 2 more years of wear and tear. At that point, I think now I think Jimmy's contract will become more of a burden, put it that way, in years 3 and 4, because it's an enormous number and he's not going to be producing, to that number, and that's going to be a problem. That's the only thing that scared me about the Jimmy deal. I don't know about you, Tom, how you felt about it. I like it, but I only like it in the first part of it, the first 2-year window. If you don't have that star next to him, that's why I pray for one of these young guys to really take off, because then it happens from within, it happens organically, and that might be the best thing.
Well, yeah, and they knew this is step one, but you had to get that first guy first. You had to get that first star and to get it this year and fast track it up a year was a great move. Like I said, coming into this free agency, being $30 million over, no one expected to get a player of this caliber. Now, look, is he I don't think Jimmy Butler's not a top 10 player in this league. He is a top 15 player, and it takes 2 of those guys. It might take a guy that's better. It might take one more guy who's Russell Westbrook and Paul George. They're better players than Jimmy Butler. Kawhi Leonard. These are better players than Jimmy Butler that change teams. So there's no reason to think there won't be someone else out. Anthony Davis, another one. There won't be someone else out there that in that caliber, in that top 10 that you might be able to go after next summer. But you had to get the first guy, and like you said, like I said, you get a far better chance when, number one, you already have one guy in the fold. So somebody you trying to convince to come to your team sees that there's somebody else there, and number 2, you have more players around him. Whether you want to keep them, figure out who fits best, and then if there's somebody that all of a sudden becomes really, somebody who becomes just a big asset on the market that you think you can move to get better. If just more of those players makes it obviously a lot easier to do this. So I think it'll be really interesting, and I think the narrative has certainly changed since July, when no one expected that this next iteration of the Miami Heat would start now. We all expected it to start in 2 summers from now. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Tom D'Angelo, of course, from the Palm Beach Post, joining us here on the program. How important do you think here's the other positive I found. Now, I don't know how Jimmy thinks, so that's the important part here. But I think when Jimmy sits down to watch the film and says, okay, Justice took over and was a leader,
and he's got a skill set. And Jimmy was going to take over and be the man, and then everybody would feed off of him. When he watches what the other guys can do in a regular game-like situation like last night, does he look at it and say, I got to try to be myself, but also I got to make sure I enhance what we do have so we can be better as a team, not just about me getting my points and my moments and those kind of. You know what I'm saying, Tom?
There's no doubt. I mean, you can't go into every game saying Jimmy. Every big shot is going to be taken by this guy. Every big moment, we need this guy to come through. There are three players in my mind who can be that closer, and Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, and Justice Winslow. And there's a lot of younger players trying to build, but those are the three guys, because those three guys can have the ball in their hands. It kind of like in 2 years ago when all of a sudden James Johnson came out. I don't know. There's another guy we're not even thinking about. Depending on which way this guy goes, he could really help his team. If he gets everything, if he gets his business taken care of, he could be a big asset to this team. I don't see a role for Dion Waiters on this team. He could help down the line, but really, when you saw what you saw last night, do you really think they need Dion Waiters? But because those are two other guys that have shown in the past that they have hit shots in crunch time and they can be kind of go-to players. But from what we saw last night, if you add Jimmy Butler to that team, Jimmy Butler does. I think he understands going into this thing that it's not all on his shoulders. You got a young guy developing in Justice Winslow who, off of what we saw last night, was very comfortable in that role, has kind of pushed for that role, and now it's up to him. And you've got a veteran guy who's been through everything, through world championships, through the NBA. He's an all-star. And Goran, who I frankly think in the last 3-4 years has needed to be a little bit more assertive in big times. He seemed to that guy goes to the bat. He's still, he sacrifices his body. Was it last night? I mean, this is a year I talked to him in spring training. I talked to him in training camp, and he talked about, at his age, trying to lessen the punishment on his body and maybe not go to the basket as much, and maybe just not go in there amongst the big guys and get beaten up. And last night he wound up going to the free throw line 10 times because he was bad. He was that aggressive guy. It's just in him. It's going to be hard for him to back off. He can do things. He can draw fouls. He can get to the rim when he needs a basket at the end of a shot clock or the end of a game. We know Jimmy Butler can do that, and now it seems that Justice is turning his head. I think Justice has a ways to go before he can just say we're always trusting him, but I think he'll get there. So I don't think there's any question, Orlando, that you have, you don't. He is not going to the season, and you don't want him going into the season, thinking it's all on my shoulders. I've got to do it all. What he saw last night. There's some other guys, and then the other thing is too. These guys, when they dish it off, guys like Bam and Tyler Hero and Ken McKnight. I mean, they will get that experience, and they'll learn from these guys, and they'll be taking big shots too. So it'll be interesting. I'm really curious to see that part of it when it gets down, when it gets close. How do they play things? How does Spo play things? Who is his kind of James Johnson 2 years ago? I guess 3 years ago now, came out of nowhere and all of a sudden was kind of a closer on this team.
James Johnson, I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, it's kind of, I know he's the black belt. I know they're talking about all that stuff and him being out of shape, and it's not my kind of out of shape. Okay, I'm really out of shape, not that kind of out of shape. Out of shape for the Heat.
They say the Miami Heat out of shape.
Yeah, which is like instead of 3% body fat, you've got 4.5 or something. I get it. I get all of that, but the talk around was also that things were slipping a little bit.
Right.
So what happened in Heat culture the last couple of years that things were slipping? Why?
That's it. Obviously, they felt this way because we heard – this is the first thing we heard from Pat Riley last April when they did not make the playoffs, and he did his annual end of the state of the team address to the media following the season, was he talked about needing a reset on the culture. He called in the word he used was slippage. And how, for whatever reason, why that occurred, who knows? For whatever reason, they saw that happening. And we you know, there are several players we can look at, I'm sure, and the two that are suspended right now. James is actually not suspended right now. He's just not with the team because of conditioning, is how they put it. But between him and Dion, who is suspended, they were the easy guys. They were the easy guys to look at. And Hassan Whiteside was another example. That was more. I'm not sure Hassan was as much physical as it was just the guy's attitude. This is obvious to me. I don't care what he does in Portland. This is addition by subtraction to get him out of this locker room. So I think it was just kind of Hassan was bringing everybody down with his moping and his attitude, and Dion too, with his in and out of the lineup and his injuries and the constant battle with is he in shape or not. James was out of the blue. That came out of nowhere. There's the one guy who nobody expected to be a guy that would be, like you said, this guy was a model of kind of conditioning over the last couple of years, the way he turned himself into a really nice player. So for whatever reason that came, and these are the two. I mean, these are the two prime examples of what Pat Riley was speaking of. If they made these moves, it seems to me there is like zero tolerance, and truly zero tolerance, because you're right. You know, is James Johnson at 3% body fat instead of 2.5 or 5 instead of 4.8? Who knows? But whatever it is, he's not there, and they made and they did not hesitate saying, okay, you know, we're going to wait. You're sitting down till you get to we're happy where you are, and same thing with Dion. You know, Dion makes a scene on the bench. He starts airing his grievances on Instagram and putting it out there on social media,
and doesn't stop.
and I mean, you think about this, you know, making fun, not making, but saying stuff about your coach. Anybody could have won with the big three, and I mean that's you talk about immaturity. I thought they got rid of all that immaturity with Hassan. Maybe now the next one is, you know, things won't truly. Maybe they need to get Dion out of that locker room also.
But Tom,
here going in the same direction.
Look, man, I love Riley, and I would never say get rid of him or whatever. I don't know what happened to Riley the last 3 years. I don't know what brain fart got into him, but he did all these things that were un-Riley-like, because Hassan is not a Riley player. Dion Waiters. What are we waiting for? This is a guy that has had a 28-game stretch in his entire career. His entire career has been about inconsistencies. His entire career has been about immaturity. His entire career has been about injuries. I mean, you look at it, nothing. He has never resembled anything that you would say professionalism from beginning to end. And we're all
living for that one stretch.
Exactly. We're living off of this 28-game stretch that we think he's going to relive it and recapture it, and it's just ridiculous. And the
mistake was made, and there's nothing you can do now until the contract's up. I mean,
right.
they've tried to trade him. There's nothing you can do now. Look, you're not going to.
What about the buyout now? Then is that what do you do? Because even if you keep him on ice, then he's going to run his mouth on social media, and it'll be a distraction as it is.
Well, if he does that, he just doesn't. He's out of the club. He's suspended, and they don't bring him back, and he's just everybody forgets about him. What you do is you hope you can get him. You hope you can get something out of him, and you can trade him quicker than you're going to. You can get him out of here quicker than you would have to wait until his contract expires. And there is going to be, if they can get it, I'm sure what they're doing is get him back on the court. Hopefully he shows something. Look at those contracts. A contract is not unbearable. I mean, in this day and age, $12, $13 million a year for a guy who could be a starting two somewhere, or for a team that's in contention that needs just something else, needs someone who can go to the basket, and he has a skill set that could help a good team. And if they can just draw that out of him for a little bit, or whether it's trade deadline or next summer, I think that's the only thing you can do, because otherwise you're just going to sit around for 2 years, and that may be what they have to do. But I guarantee you, they're hoping that they can get him back in the court. They can show something. But the problem is, where do you play him right now? You got these with the emergence of these guys, of Hero and especially Kendrick Nunn. where do you play him? If Kendrick Nunn never came along and we never heard of him and they never signed him, okay, there's a spot for Dion when he gets his stuff together and he gets back out in the court. There's probably time for him. But what do you do? Even last night without Jimmy Butler on the floor, how much? If we had the good Dion, how much would he have played? Now you're adding Jimmy Butler, another wing into the whole pot here. It's just not a lot. You're just not looking to sit some of these young guys to get him on the court. So
inconsistencies, immaturity, injuries, and now he's going to be a progress stopper if you play him because you can't.
If you play him a lot, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's time. There's minutes. These guys aren't playing 35 minutes every game. There will be minutes. But I just don't think they're going to. They're certainly not going to.
But it won't make him happy. Those minutes will not make him happy because they're going to be very minimal minutes.
And that's where they have to decide: are we going to keep him? Are we going to keep him on ice? I guarantee you, they will bring him back at some point. And if it gets to that problem, he's going back on the shelf, and they're saying, "Get out." They have gotten rid of players before that it's so much that they've just said, "Okay, go home. We don't need you. We're going to pay you." But they are going to try. They're going to give him every opportunity to get it together, get back in the court, and see if we can trade you. And that's all they can do. The mistake was made 2 years ago. They have 2 years left. 2 summers ago, I guess it was, 2 or 3. They have a couple years left in that contract. They have to wait it out. And remember, I never thought they would be able to trade Hassan Whiteside's contract.
Me neither.
I
never believed any of those contracts were interchangeable when they sold me that stuff. I was on record for all of that, bro. I never believed it.
They did 3, and it turned out 2 were probably before this summer, before this whole thing with James Johnson. Kelly Olynyk was a good signing.
Olynyk and Richardson were the only 2 respectable signings.
Yeah.
It was really more about Tyler, James, Whiteside, and Dion. Those were the 4 enormous mistakes.
Right, and they were able to trade 2 of them. And I don't think James is. I'm not in the camp that James was as bad as it was because he had a good skill set. I just think it was because of his age that they gave him it was probably longer than it should have been, but I don't think it was as bad as Hassan. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go back, and I said this all the time. I said this to Pat Riley during training camp, that when Whiteside was signed that summer, he was a max player. They had no trade. There were other teams coming out.
I know that they were. I know why the method behind the madness that they were hoping.
This is revisions because when they signed him, it was never. No one ever criticized that.
Oh no! I did. I did. I disagree with the sign. I understood, Tommy. I understood why they signed him, but I was never for the signing because of his immaturity. I never thought it would ever change, and I was right about that.
And the first year of that contract, he played up to that contract. Yeah. Just after that second year, he was when the guy led the league in rebounding and blocked shots in 2 years. 2 years in a row. One year, one the other. So he was a max player for a year for them, and then it all fell apart.
Yeah.
So
but you know what? But Tommy,
different stories, and each of them are a level of bad contract. I think.
But Tommy, you cover the team, and you know this. He played like a max player by stats wise, not necessarily by Heat standards. Because while he was
helpful.
I know, but wait a minute. While he was playing defense and blocking shots, rebounds and defense, he wasn't helping you on the offensive end. He wasn't improving his game. He also wasn't setting picks the way he should be. It was still lazy. There were still things that were part of his game that he wasn't doing all out and fundamentally. And so those were things that would frustrate the Heat and the rest of us that would watch the games because he was so intent on getting that block shot that he would not hold the pick that he had to hold, and he would break soon from the pick because he wanted to get into the fray, to go get the rebound, to go get the block, and he was focused on his individual stats and not focused on the team's success at times. So, yes, stat-wise, he played up to it, but there were other things where he fell really short on his team responsibilities.
I can't tell you the number of times watching that locker room, and the first thing he's doing is looking at his score line and looking at his stat line. That's him. And then it got worse and worse. And you know, and again, just getting Tyler Johnson as a person was great.
Oh yeah,
we made a lot. He was 2 years on that contract. He was grossly overpaid, and they got rid of it. You know.
Yeah, but they took in Ryan Anderson. By the way, they took in Ryan
5 and 6
Anderson. Okay, so they took in another bad contract.
They took in another bad contract for it, but you know they're out of that now. And you know when you got 2 years at $5 and $6 million, that worked out. It was those last 2 years that I'm sure they cringed when they did that. But again, you got 2 of them left. And again, I was not as down on the James Johnson contract when that happened as I was questioning what they were doing with Dion. But that's where they are. Everybody has bad contracts all over the league, and just to get out of it last summer, to start getting out of it last summer by A, getting rid of Hassan, and B, bringing in a max guy when you were $30 million over the cap. That's a good start. And sure, they wouldn't have been in this position if it wasn't for these contracts, 3 summers ago to start with. But here they are, but it's a good start. And like you said, this will really, we'll see where they are a year from now. We'll see where they are, next July, next August, because that's going to be when we see if they're able to kind of fast forward this and get back, take the next step up, which is going to be the most difficult, going from the 4th or 5th or 6th seed to trying to get to number 1 or 2.
Follow him on Twitter. He does an excellent job for the Palm Beach Post. Tom D'Angelo 44. Catch his work at your doorstep or online. Tom, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time.
Anytime, Orlando. Great getting back on with you, and have a great day.
Thank you, my friend. You got it. There you go. Tom D'Angelo, man. Good stuff as always. Love having him on. He has been a long-time rider here in South Florida, been covering the teams, and he knows it inside and out. But it's an interesting dynamic. I mean, what's going on with Dion. Let's talk a little bit about that when we come back on the other side. Let me tell you about Toyota of Hollywood, because right now, folks, you can save up to 50% off the new price on their 2019 models at their model changeover event sale going on right now at Toyota of Hollywood. It's at 1841 North State Road 7. It's right there on US 1 on US 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street, a couple blocks south of that big, beautiful guitar. Today they're opening up, actually. So you can get special introductory savings on new 2020 models, plus your last chance to save on all remaining 2019 models. So they are making deals. They've got over 1,500 cars in stock and on sale during the Ultimate 2019 Model Year Changeover event. Go to Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. Go to the website, toyotaofhollywood.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Call 561-441-2730. Act now. Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730. While mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
There we go. Now I hear myself. Anyway, we take you, of course, till 2. And if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, you can take off the music. There we go. All right. And we take you, of course, till 2. A lot of things to talk about as we head down the home stretch. And we thank Tom D'Angelo for joining us. If you're watching on video and while I'm talking to Tom, you see me look that way and I blink my eye and I gave a kiss, that was to my daughter, actually. So, because I'm in studio today. I'm at home. I'm in studio. So we're still, we're rocking in studio today, relaxing. Tomorrow, we're on the road in 2 different places. We're at Craig's Inn Acura from 9 to 11 in the morning. So we're on for 2 hours in the morning. Then we're on from 1 to 4 at Hialeah Park. Okay, because we are at Hialeah Park every Friday. But we're at Hialeah Park 1 to 4. So you can see us in Broward at Craig's Inn Acura on Friday from 9 to 11. And then you can come on over if you're in the Hialeah area, come on by to Hialeah Park and say hi and hang out with us. Wager on any of the tracks. Enjoy the great food at the Veranda Bar there. It's a beautiful thing, man. Come on by. We got couches and chairs and everything. We'll have some fun. Tomorrow at Craig's Inn, we'll get to unleash our new tent, which is a beautiful thing for our outside broadcasts. Looking forward to that. So we'll have some fun. So if you can, come on out there and join us. I see my man Kelvin Harris posted his new podcast. I did the podcast with Kelvin, and you can catch it there. Go to his Twitter page, Ebony Lifestyles. That is his Twitter page, and you can go to his podcast, the U podcast, taking you inside the Miami Huddle, hosted by Kelvin Harris. So Miami Huddlecast, I think, is the name of the podcast, Miami Huddlecast. So if you want to check that one out, I am on there with Kelvin. I think I did about 40 minutes or an hour with him. Something like we went throughout the whole. We broke down the entire UM game, basically, is what we did with Kelvin. So you can check out that podcast. I retweeted it now on our Twitter page. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you got questions, you got comments, you want to talk a little Heat, you want to talk a little Dolphins, you want to talk a little Canes, anything going on in the NFL, send it in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Also, let's see, what do we have here? Reyes family says, Weepa, finally, we can hear the man, Big O. Always a pleasure to hear you, brother. Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that. And John Rouse says, where's this video? What video are we talking about, John? I don't know. You gotta specify, my brother. If you're going to ask me a question, specify. Because I may not be able to remember everything that you guys are referencing. So I don't know what it is. Bill is befuddled also, so we have no idea where is this video that you're talking about.
Were you talking about some sexy naked girls while I was downstairs?
No, I was not. No, wasn't. I was actually talking about tomorrow's appearances, broadcast, where we're going to be at 2 different places. tomorrow.
Little bit of a gauntlet, man.
Yeah. Things that nobody does except us. So, yeah.
We're going to be busting out not the full thing of the tent.
Yeah.
But a semblance.
Yeah, no, I'm not putting the walls. Why put the walls up? We need that wind to flow.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
we don't have the portable air conditioners yet.
No. I was going to go buy one, actually. I was going to go buy one to lock it in there, which, would have been cool, actually. But I still remember, I got to get – somebody's got to help me out there, okay? All right? Somebody knows. I don't know, those companies that have, like, you put that fan – at the doorway, and it shoots down the air, and it kind of traps everything inside. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody knows about that kind of stuff? I need a company for that if they can do that for our tent.
The other thing that sounded awesome was the fact that it keeps the bugs out.
Yeah, and it keeps the bugs out.
And considering where we're going to be located, the west coast on the west side of town, all you need is a good breeze coming out of the Everglades, man, and that whole area is inundated with mosquitoes, big time.
Although 9 years, never been an issue at Zinn.
No?
Never been an issue at Zinn.
And they're pretty far west.
And they're super west.
Yeah.
They are as west as it gets, dude.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the I-75, so yeah.
It's like that, right just down the street was the Hollywood Sportatorium.
Yeah, which was swampland back in the day.
I mean, that whole – I just think about us cruising, how desolated that whole area was back in the day, and now how populated it is now.
Okay.
Which is
Going
crazy.
Flamingo, the flashing light at Griffin, if you made a left, okay? My buddy Guy had ATCs. That's how, not even ATVs, ATCs. On the right side were trails and a lake and this where you could get clean. And on the left side, you would go mudding. So we would go muddy, get tore up, go hit the trail, hit the lake, and get clean.
And those dirt roads led into, for those trucks that they had where they would get their dirt for construction.
Oh, yeah.
It would lead back there because I remember our crazy-ass buddy, Richard Anderson.
Yes.
He's the only guy that I knew that out of the Sporto, you would make a right, not go to 27th Avenue, make a left about, I don't know, it was maybe a mile or two down west of the Sporto, and he would take a dirt road, and you would end up in Palm Springs North. You remember that?
From Griffin Road
to
Palm Springs.
Yes.
Man, that's a good track.
But you don't remember Richard doing? Were you on any of those tracks? Richard did that. I don't know how he knew that road, and the crazy bastard would turn the lights off on us because he knew the road so well.
To make it even more interesting.
And it was pitch dark back there. There's no lights back there.
You were in the sticks, man. There was nothing.
Talking the early 80s here. There are no lights back there.
Yeah. You want to go?
Your headlights is what's because the trucks or whatever. No, they weren't back there at that time. But he knew the road so well that and you would cut through that whole area where they were loading up, where the trucks were with all those sand hills and all that stuff that you see in other places. Yep. The same thing, and he would cut out, and you would end up in PSN, bro.
They had all that white coral rock that would be the base for foundation.
You would come out of PSN Miami Lakes, and we're like, how did you get here, dude? But he knew how to use that road.
You know
He did it with me at least twice coming out of a concert.
If I had to guess,
no one has ever done that. That's the only guy I knew that knew that road, and I would never take that road because I wouldn't know. No,
if I had to guess, doing stuff like that, he had to be back there with mini bikes or ATC.
Yeah, he knew that.
He
knew it.
Yeah.
No, he knew it like the back of his hand. That's the only reason why you were confident, because it was like, no, I come back here all the time. We're like, okay. Because the first time he did it, we're like, Rich, where are you going, dude?
Back in the day, if you wanted to see like some terrestrial, event or meteor shower, you would only have to go that far.
Right.
Now, hell, you got to go another 10 miles west. You probably got to get on I-75 someplace.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Or get on 8th Street and go deep into 8th Street.
8th Street's another one, yes.
Maybe. You can get away with it a little bit there. A little bit. And you can't even do it with Chrome anymore because they've got all those lights now on Chrome. It's more lit then, and they made Chrome really safe now.
Chrome back in the day was super unsafe. That was one of the most dangerous roads in Dade County.
Yeah. That's why it connected to bloody 27. because that's what 27th Avenue used to be called back in the day. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. That's 786-322-1105. Nationals dogged the Astros 12-3 to take a 2-0 lead. Tomorrow will be Game 3 with Greinke and Anibal Sanchez. I read where the Phillies are going to hire Joe Girardi. How about that? So Marlins, Yankees, and now the Phillies. He gets 3 jobs. It's amazing. Listen, he was manager of the year in one team, won a World Series with another, so he's had some kind of success with every stop he's had. Whether you like him or you don't, he's had some success out there. What else do we have? Conor McGregor is going to fight on January 18th in Las Vegas. He's got several opponents, but he wants to fight 3 times in 2020. The last time he fought was October of 2018, so it was a year ago when he got his ass kicked. And
You think Connor's liquor sales are slipping and he needs a little bit of a boost in the economic area?
You know, I was thinking about that, and you see his commercials, and he, at least for me, he's unlikable. Okay, because he's not a good dude. I mean, he punches old men at bars. I mean, he's just a lowlife dude. You know, he threw that thing through the bus and broke all the glass, and you're hurting innocent people because
I totally thought that was like a promotional stunt.
Yeah,
no,
no,
man, that
no.
was just him being a dumbass.
Well, like what he is. And so he's not a good person by any stretch whatsoever. So it's hard for me to root for him. In fact, when this guy kicked his ass, I was super happy watching him get his ass pounded. In fact, and I know he doesn't need to fight him again because he proved that he's way better than him already as it is. But I will be rooting against Conor. I will. Now, I know his people are probably going to pick a beatable opponent, especially the first one. But I tell you, that is, I wish, what's the name, Magomedov or whatever the guy's name is, I hope he fight. I hope that guy wants to fight him again just so I can watch him beat the crap out of Conor. That would be awesome because I definitely root against Conor McGregor from here on out. There is not one part of me that can actually root for that guy. No way. No, there's no way I could ever do something like that.
Not rooting or anything like that, but the boxing match that he did, considering how badly outclassed he was from probably the greatest defensive fighter we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He did a decent job, considering.
Yeah, but
he did a decent for just pure boxing against that guy, that class.
Well, the thing is that Mayweather wasn't going to be able to knock him out, and Conor knew that. Conor knew that Mayweather didn't have the kind of power to knock him out.
Mayweather isn't that type of guy. He's almost. He reminds me
he's
a
got to
lot.
punch you a ton in order for you to either that or surprise you like he did with that other guy that he sucker punched, Tito.
Yeah, but he reminds me of a guy like the way Roy Jones would be. Roy Jones would want to beat you like 11-1,
right,
12-0, just totally beat the crap out of you for 12, but wouldn't take you out.
But Roy could knock you out.
He could, but
that's the difference.
He wouldn't do it.
Mayweather's not a knockout guy. Young Pretty Boy Floyd had more power, but then after, as the years went on and the hand injuries and all that, he lost some of that power, and he just wasn't the same guy anymore. But Conor knew that. But
going in, so you think it took the fight because he fought,
Yeah, he was outclassed, is what it was. Obviously, that he could not.
Hey, man, how many people get in the ring with Mayweather?
You can't.
And I mean, that
you're going to look like a fool.
Yeah, he just is so tactically correct. He's probably the best tactical fighter we've seen in the history of boxing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. He's definitely one of those that you just got to tip your hat to when you talk about the skill set. We have rarely seen people like that in this world because 50-0 is 50-0. And I know he's been calculating in the way he's done in things and how he's set up his fights and all that, but His defensive nature is something that can never be argued.
Guy loves to gamble, man.
Yeah, that's why, I think he will not have money when it's all said and done. Connor's another guy too that I think will end up going broke also, because they demand living that kind of really extravagant lifestyle, and you can only maintain that while you're producing the extravagant amount of money. But eventually, when you're not doing it anymore, then you can't keep spending that way, because
so he's not going to be able to parlay his liquor thing to like
everybody thinks
Sammy Hagar and George Clooney type
and
stratosphere.
You get that $100 million payoff. It's really 50 because the government takes half of it, and then you got to give your trainers and everything else. And it's by the time.
Doesn't he have a couple of $200 million payoffs?
No, I know that.
He's got a couple.
But he spends a lot too. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's great to have all that money, but if you're going to have 10 cars and you're going to have a whole bunch of houses and a whole bunch of hoes and you're going to do stupid things that you're going to end up in court, and you got to pay people off, and you got to pay court and lawyers and all that, your money
There's constantly somebody biting you in the ass looking for some cash.
Yeah, because we keep thinking that it's us, that if they gave you $200 million, they gave me $200 million, our kids won't have to work for the rest of their. Forget us, our kids, because that money would last us. Because we wouldn't be spending those kind of. We wouldn't be doing those
you
crazy
set up
things.
tax shelters and annuities and endowment and all that.
Just by living a normal, super comfortable life is cheap with that kind of money. I mean, seriously, if you have $200 million, you should be able to live off the damn interest. That's it. Put it in the market, let it roll over. I mean, give me a break. I've got a guy that's getting me like 13 to 16% return on the portfolio.
What's this guy's name?
David Liebel. David Liebel, you can call him. He's a good dude. So, yes, I mean, it's if you have that money, think about it. If David's giving you 13% on $200 million, that's $26 million, isn't it? I think I can put more money away.
No,
I'll live on $6 every. I'll
know what you need?
$6 million a year, which is one hell of a life.
You know what?
And put away 20.
You need some major tax shelters, man. $26 million and pay all the taxes. You need some tax shelters.
But I mean, you're fine. You should be able to be smart enough to live off of that money. And your family should be able to live off that money. Just be smart. But these guys aren't smart. They have 5 hoes. Each of them have 5 kids. They've got 5 homes. They've got 10 cars. They've got a wife, an ex-wife, another ex-wife. They've got lawyers. They've got legal issues. And before you know it, you're broke. And then you want to buy your Rolls Royce, but you don't buy just a Rolls Royce. No. You gold plate it. And then you put this and you put that. And then it's like, I remember when I was covering Tony Martin in his money laundering case, okay? And this was 20-something years ago, I want to say, okay? Because I want to say this was in the 90s, late 90s when it happened. My man had an SUV that had TVs all over inside that he had installed. Back then, that was like an enormous thing. And I was like, dude, what do you need TVs installed all over? It was like 5 TVs in the car. While the court case was going on, they were talking about his valuables, the things, because they had to then get some of that money, get it back. And the stuff, it's like, what do you need that for, bro? No wonder you're broke. Like, what do you care that the person in the third back seat has a 15-inch television? What do you care about that? And back then, it was like, it was an super expensive car that he dressed up. So you're just throwing all that money away.
I need my bathroom fixtures to be 14 karat gold.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Hey, listen, you don't want it to be lead because you don't want cancer. I get it. But you don't got to go to gold. Come on, man. PC pipe, PCV, right? PVC, whatever, PVC pipes, that'll do. There you go. All right, we thank Tom D'Angelo for joining us on the program. As always, we thank all of you for tuning in here to the show. We got a loaded day tomorrow. We're going to be on from 9 to 11 in the morning at Craig's Inn Acura. Okay? We'll talk a little Canes there. We'll have a Pittsburgh writer also to join us covering the Panthers. May have another guest, too, during that time. In the afternoon, Andy Behrens. So you can already start sending in your fantasy football questions to our accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. We'll ask Andy those questions at 1:30. At 3:30, Chris Long will join us to give us his picks against the NFL and college football. Don Henrik from the Dolphin Club in Pennsylvania is going to join us at 3:30. I think we may have another guest, too, that I'm lining up. But we've got all kinds of people that will be joining us tomorrow on the show, and we'll get into a little football talk. Got a lot of things in the NFL developing, so we'll get into that tomorrow. We'll get into some Dolphins talk. Obviously, we'll hold off onto Monday for more of that talk because they play on Monday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Trade deadline Tuesday, right?
Yes. So we'll find out if Kenyon Drake, Albert Wilson, or Devontae Parker are possibly moved for the trading deadline in the NFL.
Let me get the door for you guys.
Yes, exactly. And I think Monday, we are at Dandy Donuts in
correct,
Hollywood.
sir.
Yes, we
are.
Yes, we are. We're at Dandy Donuts in Hollywood on Monday. So
Yeah, I've only been wanting a glazed donut since the 2 Thursdays ago when we were at Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, they were closing and they were out of them.
And we'll be there noon to
Yes,
3,
man.
by the way. We'll be on the air at noon or maybe 11. I don't know. 11, noon. And what do you
11.
think?
11. Yeah.
11 a.m.
We
we'll be there.
got to get the podcast stuff for the guys.
Yes, get you the afternoon podcast for after. And thank you all for the incredible download numbers in the afternoon. Obviously, a lot of you are choosing to listen to us in your afternoon drive, and we really, really appreciate that. And remember, you got any questions, any comments, any criticisms, any ideas for the show, things that you think could make it better, more interactive, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. And on behalf of Bill and myself, we thank all of you for your incredible support and the incredible numbers of downloads that we're getting every single day.
Guys, blow us away every day, man.
Every day. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O